Divine Masculine and Feminine Darlings. This is the Seraphim Gem Gypsy, SeraFae Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long. But I do have a number of channels to break down and possibly a reading as well. A lot of these will be kind of split across the board, but I did just pick up a number of them in relation to the same topic. And it's one that I was quiet about yesterday, but I'm being called to speak on it now. So I was waiting for a few pieces of mail to come through yesterday. And because of the stalking and harassment and mail tampering from these local criminals that started a couple of years ago, I make sure to very closely monitor my stuff. And so I knew when it was supposed to arrive, which was yesterday. It was on track to arrive. The shipping tracking said that the piece of mail, the two pieces of mail actually, coming from two separate places, were on track to arrive yesterday. They were out to be delivered as of yesterday. But this mail never came. However, for the first time in quite some time, the person that was delivering the mail yesterday was not the one who's normally consistently been on the route for a while. No, the one who delivered yesterday, the one day my mail suddenly starts going missing again, is the same person who was recruited to steal it previously. So my mail was showing up fine after this person was no longer delivering my mail, and then all of a sudden they show up and it's going missing again the very day that it goes missing. And the mail again is coming from two separate places. So it should all be fine, right? If one piece of mail was to get lost from one place, that would be one thing. But if it's coming from two separate places and it's getting lost, that's not just a piece of fluke mail getting lost. That's somebody deliberately screening mail, I would say, at this point. If the pieces of mail were coming in the same package or envelope, that would be one thing. But it's not. They're coming from two separate locations, from two separate places. So I was quiet about this yesterday. This particular person who's been messing with the mail was recruited by a group of people. I don't know this person personally, but I used to be friends with their sister-in-law. And the toxic, main, abusive person who's been targeting me all these years and recruiting other people to do it, well, he's friends with the husband of the sister-in-law. So they're all friends, they all party together, they all drink together, etc., etc. And they all crime together as well. They all convince each other their bad ideas are good ideas, those yes men, henchmen energies we talk about here in narcissism for 22, and they need each other to help cover up their crimes. So it's a toxic, abusive person who's mad that they can't have access to me. And they recruited their friend and the wife of that friend and then the brother of that friend, all to gang up together. Divine Masculine says, oh, so what do they think? Like they're the Bonnie and Clyde gang? You're funny. Good point. Stupid. Anyway. The Barrow Gang. No. So that's the one channel, right? I didn't mention that yesterday, but that's been going on. Subsequently, on a spiritual note, I just got out of the shower. I was doing my skincare. I was also on the yoga mat, and I got this reference point. There was a bit of crystalline energy that came out in a reading that I did yesterday. Also, the reference of Atlantis came up. Again, just island energy in general. Lemuria was also a reference, 602. And I mentioned something about the reference of Atlantis where there were toxic warring people, right? Like they were karmics. There were light workers who were living on this beautiful, lush island, and there were karmics who wanted it for themselves. Let's just break it down as simply as possible. So they came in with their warships and tried to overthrow the environment and tried to take everything for themselves, tried to use the crystal technology for themselves, use it for bad purposes, and what ended up happening was it caused geographical devastation. Right? Imagine mismanaging earth elements. Right? If you've got a mine, one wrong move can collapse that whole mine. Well, if you mismanage or misuse or send inappropriate frequencies through that crystalline grid through the earth, that can upset the frequency and cause things as a reaction like, well, earthquakes, and that is liable to create a tsunami. 722. I won't get into the depths of it, the whole scope, other than to just quickly go over earthquakes, right? Typically speaking, you've got the two plates of the earth, and they go one of three ways, right? So you've got one plate of the earth or one chunk of the earth and one chunk of the earth over here, and they start compressing towards each other, just as the gravitational pull shifts the different spots of the earth, and the two plates push together, and there's not anywhere for them to go like this. So they either go up into a mountain, that's how mountains are formed, or they go down and they create a trench, or one goes on top of the other. But either one of those is enough to create the formation, especially the latter two, of a tsunami. So many years ago, I was speaking about this energy, actually to the sister-in-law of the mailman who's been messing with my mail, 822, because they're all friends and they're all associated with this one person who's mad that I won't let him come anywhere near me because, well, he's an abusive, monstrous piece of crap. 1111. Now, I did get a few personal analogies, but this is to be addressed on a much larger collective spectrum for a couple of reasons, including that while it was one situation in regards to the Atlantean reference, it affected everybody everywhere. It affected the whole island and then some. So let me just recap. A number of years ago, I was speaking about this Atlantean energy and the crystal energy, and more specifically the chakra points of the earth, the grid system of the earth, to the sister-in-law of this mailman. Because she moved to my hometown and was lonely, and I felt bad for her. So I tried to be nice to her. One time I stayed over at her place. My oracle cards went missing out of my bag. And you know what's interesting? It was an angel deck at that. They stole a box of angel oracle cards at me. and they wanted to either try to claim spirituality for themselves. They stole them from me and then wanted to try to claim spirituality for themselves or try to knock me for being spiritual. Sounds like jealousy to me. They stole your angel cards? Yes, out of my backpack. That was weird, so weird. And I asked directly, I said, have you seen those? No. Okay. Well, they didn't just magically get up and walk away, ma'am. And then one of the last messages I have from her on Facebook is where she said, you pushed me away. Yeah, for good reason. You stole my oracle cards and also ganged up on me with a convicted domestic abuser. What did you expect? Think you can lie to my face and be a creep and a sneak, but I won't notice or care? Yeah, and then when the truth came out about that, the same person tried to tell a judge, oh yeah, this is why I had to walk away from her. What do you mean you had to walk away from me? The last messages you sent me were of you complaining that I cut you off because I peeped your bullshit when you thought you were being sneaky and you weren't. 11-11, checkmate. Yeah, well, the court transcript doesn't match up to her previous Facebook messages. I still have those. Anyway, so nonetheless, years ago, I told her about the chakra systems. I told her about the reincarnation in this Celtic island energy, right? Speaking of, they've been doing evacuations, right, in LA. It was an evacuation of the island, sending them to these Celtic isles for safety, knowing that let's just call it the Atlantean Isle, was going down. And she responded by telling me, excitably, that the father of her brother-in-law, right, so her husband's brother, his father used to write books about not only, I think crystals possibly, but definitely these chakra systems of, more specifically, this particular island that I'm standing on right now. Yeah. So it's either spiritual jealousy or something where they think that they can compete, or some kind of spiritual bigotry. Either way, or both. Yeah, divine masculine, the gears in his head are turning like, no way. Yeah, I have a book copy right here. You know why? Because she said, no way! I was just cleaning the attic of my husband's house. Because she had just moved in with him at that point. And I found this box up there, and it was a box full of these old books that he had not yet sold. More specifically, because he died. I think, if I recall, they said it was suicide. Okay? So this goes into a secondary part, because these are the same people. This is the island that I'm currently standing on, by the way. These are the same people that have been consistently terrorizing me, like I said, messing with my mail. That's where finances come through, also court paperwork and stuff. But one of the gang stalker's fathers also understands a lot of the same context that I did. Now, oh, by the way, that's the same name as the mailman who's stalking me, because he's named after his father. So, yeah, here, not so crazy after all. No. And so if he killed himself, is that why they were gunning after me? They think, okay, well, they understand some of the same stuff. They both believe in chakras of the planet and this and that. And so maybe if we bully her spiritually or otherwise, maybe if we bully her, maybe she'll kill herself like he did. So you're trying to what? Bully me like you want me to kill myself like your dad did?
Because we both understand planetary chakra systems? What do you mean? Or you do believe in this and you think I'm competition, so you wanted to try to bully me as a result? What's wrong with you either way? You got issues, kid. Oh, by the way, and the mailman, his son, the guy who wrote this book, his son failed kindergarten. Just so you know. 1522. So it doesn't surprise me that he was stupid enough to violate federal law. Okie dokie then. So there's that. How do you have a copy? Because she brought me one. Before I had to walk away because she was enabling and supporting and partaking in abuse. Knowing full well that it was abusive. Oh, you deserve better. Oh, this abusive person, they're going to get what's coming to them. All the while they're being sneaky behind my back with these people, helping them be abusive to my child and I, and making it harder for us to get help. 1602. No, that's not what friends do. You pushed me away. Yeah, you deserved it. I'd do it again. But you see, I don't need to because you'll never have the choice to get back in. 1616 at that. I've been seeing a lot. 616. Unions are coming. Twin flame unions, right? Hostages, like my daughter, for example, being held hostage. That's stopping. Hostages will be sent home. And it's not just me. But what is Atlantis? It was a whole collective island of light workers who lived together in harmony. And so, yeah, I have this example for you, but it's not just about me. And the reason that this comes into play is because what I was telling her years ago when she said, no way, my husband's, it was her boyfriend at the time, my baby dad's brother wrote books about this before he died. Let me bring you one. I just cleaned the attic and found a big box of them. This was a few years back. Number of years back. And the way that these people here have been behaving towards me, I got two things to say about this. 1722 is very much like the context of the people who tried to uproot Atlantis and ended up bringing it down, according to that history and back context. But what I was telling her was, hey, I had a dream about something the other day, and there was a reference point of, the top of the mountain at Cadillac. It's the heart chakra of the island, and there was, I won't even get into the depth of it, but there was a lot to it, and it was collective lightworking energy, and it was how this place actually connects to the grid system of where Atlantis was said to be on the map. Right where I am right now, on one point of the chakra system, where the other end is on the map is, it's where I am, like a ley line. It connects from one point to the next. 1822, Divine Masculine says, so they're just living out this past life karma then. Yes, that's what I'm getting at, my love. Okay, so I was explaining this aspect of the dream, but then also the crystals, and how the Atlantean tie connected from point A to point B. This place used to be called Eden before the name was changed, I think 1800s, 1900s. But this town that I'm standing in used to be called Eden. The pre-K that I went to was called Eden School. I wonder if he went there too. Either way. Yeah. Divine Masculine says, so they either believe it or they don't, but either way, they look bad. Yeah. And so what they thought that they were going to make me look crazy or kill myself, bully me because I either believe in this or because they don't, or because they believe in it and they don't want me to be seen in the spotlight or something. 1122. Either way, they still look like jerks in the end. because it's not working. And I think that's what it was. They needed me to be bullied to death so they could say, oh, see, she was just so unstable. See, she killed herself. She couldn't even take care of herself. So that they could dodge accountability or make themselves look superior. But I'm not going anywhere but up in life. So they just look like bullies and a-holes for trying. Next. The other thing, because I pressed protection order charges on that mailman. And they all lied to a judge. They all went, sat together and lied to a judge. And this creepy mailman who's been stealing my mail tried to say, yeah, she had issues with this other mailman too. His name is Doug. Yeah, because Doug is an old, supposedly married man who has no business peeping through my windows. But you see, when Delray was alive, even he noticed it, and he noticed it before I did. I brushed it off because I thought I was just being paranoid, like flattering myself, oh, that guy's not looking at me. He's just, no, he freaking was. You know why? Because he walked up on me one day after I'd gotten out of the shower, not realizing it. He was peeping through the windows, and I caught him, tried to duck back behind the door frame. Yeah, see, Divine Masculine's like, oh, yeah, you see. Oh, she's got problems with all these people. Can't be me. No, I only have problems with people who are weird and perverted and break the law. So it must be the bunch of you because all of you are into that grimy stuff. It's classic divide and conquer diversion tactic, though. They think that it's more believable if they repeat the same lie in a group. Since you're standing there together, then you can't possibly be telling the truth since you're the only one. Well, guess what? A lie is a lie, even if only one person backs up the truth. A lie is a lie, even if everybody is speaking it. Wrong is wrong, even if everybody's doing it. And right is right, even if it's only me. It's not only me. People thought I was all alone. I've got a spirit team and soul family coming in. You underestimated your target, boo-boo. You bumbling buffoons. Precisely. So, let's see. I've got a little themed reading to do. You have anything to say about this? Oh, and by the way, after noticing it 3 different days in a row, Delray went outside and told him to mind his business and deliver the mail and do his job and stop taking peeps at his wife. And he did. Until about 2.5, I noticed the timeline, or 3 months after Delray died, and eventually his car wasn't in the driveway anymore, and the mailman noticed, so I think he thought that either I didn't care or there was no protector there anymore. No, just because Delray died did not mean that I wanted him or that he had the right to be a peeping Tom again. He didn't have the right in the first place. Doug, how do you think your wife would feel about that? Freak. All of you. I mean, like, it's criminal 101 to try to use systems of law or justice or even the mail system to corruptly target people. It's not such a it's the mail system. You sound crazy. No, those are the exact types of things that criminals try to use to target people, especially when it's criminal conspiracy, which is what happens when you've got a domestic abuser and his buddy and his wife and their brother all ganging up on you like a bunch of idiots. And that's just the first round. Thank you very much. Aloha. Oh, I hear it. We're not talking about Hawaii, although it is a very tropical region, both places. Assemble your desire. So what we will not be doing is dealing with toxicity and toxic people. By the way. because they're not very welcoming and we don't want it. Assemble your desires. No, not that. Crowning moment. Yeah. Celebrate your accomplishments. I hear that. Knowing better. So doing better. Worth the risk. Yeah. And it's better to go it alone than be in the company of the wrong people, because eventually staying in that path of alignment brings you to the right ones and vice versa. There it is. Magnified and brought to light. Exactly. Prepare for expansion in heart and mind. And also soul family. People who actually support you and cheer for you the way that you cheer for them, and actually genuinely care for Luxie and support them. Re-energize. And I'll be your excuse when we're leaving the party. And feel like you might die. Don't have to worry, 'cause I can bring you back to life. I'll be there for you always, always. Love lives on. I can bring you back to life, he said. So this is about, it's like the counterparts coming together, or soul family coming together and helping fill each other's cup back up, re-energize each other. But he says we give to each other, though. We nurture each other and nourish each other. So none of us giving to one does not take from another, because we're all just, I hear, sharing the bounty, the plethora, and filling each other's cup. He says it's what it should be. It's what real family and high frequency should be. It's what they distort or try to taint. Yeah. It's the dream life, he says. Yeah, it's what people want, but then they cloud it with their malefic intentions or greedy desires. Cycle of renewal, but there's a fresh start happening. Strive for clarity, knowing better, so doing better, even if we had to go it alone for a while. Aloha. Okay, anything else? I feel like we're good with this deck. There's an angry karmic. Oh, angry but crying. Oh, and the docket number, by the way, for a couple of those criminals is PA-2024 dash 160. Also PA-2024-69. And I believe PA-2024-106. If it's not 106, then it's 107. Hold on. I can double check it right here. I want to make make sure I'm not incorrectly quoting this. Let's see. Give me 30 seconds. It is 106, right? So PA is the type of order. There are FM cases, which are like family matter or civil matter cases, and then there's PA, which is for protection order. Whether it be protection or for harassment or protection from abuse is not really relevant. It's both outlined in the PA. PA for protection from harassments are when you're dealing with, like, if you have an old boss that's harassing you or some stranger on the street, that's harassment. If it's your ex or like an ex-husband or a parent that you live with or you lived with that's abusing you or causing problems, that would be a domestic situation. So that's protection. It's a protection order. I know it's confusing and somebody's asking what's the difference other than like the dynamic of the relationship. Nothing really. It just outlines, like, did you live with that person or not? Is it a domestic situation or not? Like, your boss being a dick wouldn't be a domestic situation. Some asshole on the street being a dick, not the same thing. But like a husband hitting his wife, that would classify as abuse. Somebody abusing their kids, that would be protection, not harassment. So the PA stands for protection order, and the 2024 is the year that they were filed. So it's PA-2024. The last number is the particular case number of each individual person. And so you have PA-2024-69. It's one criminal. PA-2024 106, and then PA-2024 160. And they all work together, and they all lied to a judge, and I have each of those court transcripts on the laptop right in front of me. Oh, and also hard copies in my file cabinet. Just in case. Karmics are tantruming. I'm over here just kicking it. Chilling. Smell like a snack. I am not a snack, right? I am a whole garden. You water me and nourish me and I will feed you forever, but I smell like a snack. A delicious one. Yeah, these karmics were not very smart. Speaking of Atlantis energy. And so at this point, I'm more like him than they are. I would say, or at least that's what they thought. Or they thought that they were, so they thought that they could compete with me or something. No. I'm like, why would you want to bully somebody? Like, why would you want somebody to end up like your dad did? Unless that was your point. which makes you terribly malicious. And if you're willing to kill people or try to bully people to death because you're upset about your dad dying, do you deserve him? Thank you. Because I know you don't deserve me. This was crossing. Because it was inhumane what they did. They were targeting light workers, dude. Trying to throw people out of balance because they're dysregulated. Oh, and then trying to blame us for it. Trying to dysregulate people and then say, see, unstable. You're just unwell. No, you're destabilizing. There's the difference. Well, we can fix the damage you did. You're still damaged. Which is why you seek to damage others. Clearly. Brainless, not kind, and not very smart. Like I said, that's a double whammy. Came out twice. Wisdom in reverse came out too. They did this for money and power. Yeah, well, like the warring people who wanted to take Atlantis by storm, huh? How'd that work out for them? They wanted the place for themselves, and they ended up, they went down with it. $36.22. What's wrong with being confident? Oh, yeah, I just shook them. Respect, because nobody respects them now. You know why? Because people know what they did, and that they lied to try to cover it up and play the victim and villainize and the real victim while they were victimizing people. Yeah, thank you very much. The leaves are falling off the trees, meaning the masks are falling off these narcissists, so to speak. Sympathy, they lack sympathy. Also, this is about being in touch with the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system. They're not. Which is why, like, I picked up a Divine Masculine mentioning earlier while I was in the shower. Basically overexert, dysregulate her nervous system. They tried to overwhelm her nervous system. They tried to overload her nervous system, and he just wanted to give her a safe space to rest and heal and feel like she was at peace. Oh, she's so angry. There's a karmic female, like, ripping her hair out. This is somebody who attached herself to that group through the karmic male that attached himself through that group. Right? The main person that recruited all those other people also latched onto a karmic female, and they decided to bully me together, and then they recruited all their anybody toxic around them that they could try to call a friend for long enough to ally with to bully me. But that was the one thing that they had in common, which was that they had a beef with the fact that I would not deal with them. See, all these people wanted to be in my life and they wanted my attention. The problem for them was either I stopped tolerating their bullshit because I noticed it, and or I walked away. And that's when they started bullying me. All the people, the main people who came after me, that was the consensus. I mean, like, one of them is in my freaking testimonial page on my website still, okay? One of the people who's been, even as of the last couple weeks, stalking me drive-by. You know why? Because I didn't even charge him. I gave him a free reading, and it played out accurately. And he wrote me a review, a raving one at that. So to sit here and try to call me crazy now because I won't deal with them it makes them look stupid, asinine, doesn't it? $39.22. And it's screenshots. He sent me them on Facebook. Meaning it's not anything I typed and like copy and printed. No, I took the screenshots straight from Facebook Messenger. So these people either were mad that I walked away, or they were recruited by people who were mad that I walked away. Typically with slander and gossip. Or just mutual hatred towards light workers, happy people. People whose peace they wanted to disturb because their misery wants company. Need a fuego, hold on. Time and attention. They all wanted my time and attention. And again, I'm not the only one that this will resonate, and I know this. And I can say that confidently because these people aren't special. I'm an empath at bare minimum, and they're narcissists, simply put. And what I just described, they're either upset that I walked away, period, and or that I started noticing their crap or stopped tolerating their bad behaviors and stuff. That's just common narcissism 101. When you walk away, they're losing their narcissistic supply. And for a narcissist, the problem is not how they treat you. It's when you start to notice, when you start to have an issue with it, when you speak up or you seek to do something about it. That's where their issue starts. You notice that's when they start the story of when you had problems. If you look at the timeline of when a narcissist says their problems or their beef with a light worker started, it usually starts when the light worker walked away. They don't frame it that way, or they frame it as if the light worker was crazy to walk away. Like, they were so nice in the relationship and they gave the light worker nothing but any reason to stay. But even if they do outline that, it's pretty brief. Or everything that they did to the light worker and all the complaints that the light worker has about them, they'll flip the script and try to complain in reverse. But often they don't. Often they start the story and they say the problem started when you walked away. Now, again, sometimes they do need to try to narrate and create some kind of a backstory to justify or cover up why you walked away. They're just crazy. I don't know why they left. I was so good to them. They're just mean. They're abusive. Look how they left me. But they don't tell people how they screamed and they hit and they stole and they lied and they gaslit and they cheated and they tried to break people down. Not even just their minds and their bodies, but their spirits. And so this is why they start the story there usually. Because for them, the problem didn't start when they were starting problems. It wasn't a problem for them to bully or try to get one over on people or lie. Problem was that you wouldn't let them do it for them. So they think they're entitled to abuse people, but they don't think you're entitled to stand up against it. In fact, sometimes they find it offensive. Too bad. They're delusional. That's their delusion, not mine. And I don't recommend letting it be yours either. Next. My lighters keep going missing today. It's not a normalcy for me. Like 3 of them today. They're all here. I haven't left, so they're somewhere. Let's crack another deck open, shall we? It's been a long time, maybe years, since I've used these ones, some of them. Hope. Peace dove. You wanted to break people. You know, I heard that. You cannot break me. I'm still fighting for peace. 'Cause I've got thick skin and a rustic heart. Courage. What's wrong with being confident? Oh. wanting to pick up for some reason. There you go. And grace. The geese flying towards warmer, sunnier, better days are coming. Soon we'll be dancing in the sun. They migrate to warmer climates, the geese. I was just thinking yesterday, I haven't heard them, but I wouldn't. They left, I assume, at least a few weeks ago. But I think probably closer to a month. It's been a few weeks since I've heard them cognitively. And it was every day, meditation. So finding a space of peace, like I said, I was on the yoga mat when I got these downloads about these people who lack empathy and try to disturb the healing. Wow, the healing and the peace of what? The emerald gem here. That throat chakra jump, they want me to be quiet about this. No. Stay out of my face and don't mess with my mail, and maybe I won't have anything to say about you. But if you want to be an ass and you want to disturb my life and my peace and break the law while you're doing it, then that's on you, boo-boo. Yeah, like I said, they lack integrity. Yeah, a lot of these people thought that I either couldn't do anything to them or I wouldn't do anything to them. I was being merciful. Zadkiel is the angel of mercy and compassion, but also kindness and forgiveness too. But also justice, dude, and karma. And they forgot that part. Cherry pickers. Oh, freedom. See, they're trapped for trying to trap other people. Yeah. And you see, they do not have divine support. Not at all. Miracles. There's no miracle coming for them. There's nothing and no one to save them. See, they came for the diamonds, the gems, even the diamonds in the rough. They came after children or people who are parents. Yeah. Because they were greedy and they lacked gratitude. What did I say earlier about the harvest and the bounty? I heard it clairaudiently. There it is. Zadkiel. What did I just say? Hello. You're welcome. You know what this is? The Whirling Dervish. I almost pulled out a Sufi deck. Hold on. Let's do one more of these cards before I crack. I have two. I have the Rumi and the Sufi out. Intention. Okay, so their intentions were not good. They were of dark intent. What about the karmic energy in relation to that? Because I feel like it's a split energy. Just to clarify, I feel like not with these cards. Hold on. No, look what just popped out. See? Try to mess with the security and the stability of the light workers. That's a no. That flower of life, the dolphins came out within the last couple of days. I also mentioned that. Yeah, they came after people who are smarter than they are too. Enchantment, Archangel Michael. They came after people who have faith and divine support as above and so below. Earth force. But you know what about that? I already have the Archangel Michael deck out. I'm not going to be using it in this one, but I do have one right here ready to go for the next reading because I was already told I would. See if I can find. Mr. Mike. Yeah, see, there he is. This is an Archangel Michael deck. I know. I also mentioned the map, the geographical stuff, the Atlantean energy, and then the crossover to the Celtic Isles, which I will have a secondary reading on, but not right now. I'm gonna put this Michael deck back just to keep things organized. Packable, and then I think I'll crack the Sufi deck first. Whoops. That one's done. That's so funny. So funny. So I felt like I needed to do a divination flip with this book. So I did. You probably heard it. I went with the book from across the room, and the page that it opened to was the heart chakra, which specifically was this Cadillac Mountain reference. And I told you about that. Oh, he wrote books about that. Oh, let me bring you one. Crazy. Yeah. I hear respite, Reiki. I'm getting some Reiki downloads too. Respite Reiki. This is about restoring peace and healing and balance. If you have respite from something, like a heavy situation, it means you have relief or reprieve from that situation. So I also hear repentance. If you need to let go of something or a situation, I feel like you need to unburden yourself to the to the divine. Talking to my light workers, not my grimy karmics. Maybe you've made mistakes or tolerated people that you shouldn't, or whatever the situation is. In some cases, it's just releasing false guilt, help releasing things that are being projected at you. But more than that, I feel like this is directed towards people who, repentance Reiki, it's not about the light workers needing to repent. It's about the fact that there are people who need to repent for what they've done to the light workers. If not directly to that light worker, then definitely energetically. But more so, it's about releasing. If not some kind of heavyweight guilt or burden, then the people who caused it. Yeah. I hear recovery as well, recovery Reiki. Big emphasis on bouncing back from this last round of attempted whiplash that we all know that they tried to spin. It's the same thing over and over again. Every time they felt like light workers were not being beaten down the way that they wanted us to be, or that we were recovering from what they were doing or dodging their attacks, or even being able to preemptively counter them, it made them mad. They went back around and tried to recruit the same people to do the stalking and abuse tactics, or whatever control and domination tactics, intimidation tactics they were spinning, or they tried to recruit new ones. But either way, it was just the same typical cycle
for the most part, of tactics over and over and over again, and they just repeat it over and over again. Sometimes they switch up their tactics a little bit, or they'll cycle them around. If one doesn't work, they'll try another one. But usually it's the same, and they're all pretty much the same. Like, for example, they'll try stalking directly, and if that doesn't work, or they get caught, or it gets too close to being caught, then they'll try to stalk people online. If not also, then instead, then sometimes that's when they start trying to play with hacking and stuff like that. So it's, the tactics might switch up a little bit, but it's all the same. It's for the same kind of motive and purpose, and even if they're a little bit different, they're along the same line enough for it to, like, really, dude, you're basic, first of all, and we're bored. We're bored of you. We're bored of this. This is toxic frequency. You need to grow up. Nobody wants to deal with you. We have, if not already long since outgrown this, then this was something that we never resonated with in the first place, which is why we said no, when you should have taken that no for a no, because no means no, not yes. Learn it. Thank you. Yeah, see, trying to violate people's free will. I mentioned that last night. I'm just splitting the deck in the reading. That's why they feel like they need to copy other people. Okay, that's split again. Do not be frustrated. See, they're mad. Told you. I told you. Slow down to relax. Ooh, and they can't. They burn themselves out trying to burn us out. I told you. Deal with the unexpected. Now they have to deal with the unexpected. They did not expect the divine to catch up with them, or the law. As above, so below. And they can't change anything about it. They can't fix it. This is that Sufi deck I told you. Self-creation. Yeah. So they are in a pickle of their own making, and also now the universe has put them in a pickle in response to that they can't get themselves out of. Self-creation. They're stuck now. They have no self-creation. They have no power, remember? They're not creative. It's why they were plagiarizing from other people and trying to box other people in like the squares that they are. They didn't want people to outshine them. Let me tell you something. One of the main people who's been after me, when my baby was a toddler, he tried to demand that she color inside the lines, but he can't even draw a fucking stick figure. So I don't want to hear it, says the artist. 5622. And you know how I know that? Because I've seen his drawings. And he's even sent me drawings. Let me show you one. Let me show you one. Trying to remember what the keywords are. Hold on. Multitask while I do this and get the next deck out. Okay, thank you. I'll pull it up in a minute. You know what I've been hearing for days? I hear it again. Pack up your car,
Put a hand on your heart. Say whatever you feel, be whoever you are. We're not angry at your love. You're the best thing that we lost. You know, I often will post that one about Del Rey. We're not angry at you, love. You're the best thing that we lost. Yeah. Pack up your car and put a hand on your heart. Say whatever you feel, be wherever you are. We're not angry at your love. You're the best thing that we lost. Yeah, so I'm picking up in this case that some of these karmics feel like that in reverse. They are still angry. I'm picking up a lot of them at us for leaving, that their tactics didn't work, but whether it's malicious, a lot of them at us for leaving, that their tactics didn't work, but whether it's malicious karmics or those labeled abuse instead of generational curses that are capable of breaking for themselves, just before people got ready to break them for them, by the way. Rude and ignorant. But now these karmics are feeling like that about light work up. So they feel like, even subconsciously, like, yeah, they're still mad, but the reason that they're mad really is because they feel like, I'll just use myself in this example, like I'm the best thing that they ever lost. When all the people who've been coming after me, I used to give to, I was kind to, I used to be there for. They didn't start retaliating against me until I walked away. That was the issue. That was when the issue started for them. When I left, when I stopped tolerating their abuse or noticed what they were doing and I wouldn't put up with it. Both. In some cases, I walked away because of what I noticed. And that's when they started being nasty, or at least nasty outright. Like they didn't have to hide it. Their resentments, the things that caused them to mistreat people that way. But really, they're mad because you're the best thing that we lost. You're the greatest thing we lost. Oh, I know, and you'll never get me back. Ever. 6322. So here's the stick figure drawing that this criminal drew me a couple of years back. In fact, no joke. Oh, and then he proceeded to stalk me to the concert. He drew this picture before the date of the concert, and then he stalked me to that concert. I did not go with him, but he stalked me there anyway. After premeditatively drawing pictures of him. Yes, this was a grown man who drew that. How old? I'm not over 21. I heard that. Oh, that's sad. Yeah? Yeah, I agree. I heard that with the stickers to boot. Yeah, that's a sticker. Oh, and that one is too. I still have the hard copy here. I'm just not going to pull it out right now. It's easier to pull up the digital file faster today. Yeah. Now I know why you took the time to show it. Oh, it was worth it, wasn't it? Funnier than it should have been. Yeah, I agree. That's why I took the time to pull it up. Oh, gosh. Get out of there. keep gonna eat these things. Divine Divine Masculine, you're making, stop that. No, don't stop that. But also, you're making me blush. And my cheeks hurt a little bit. I'm not complaining though. Thank you. So mad. Why are you so mad? Because you got away. Oh. And I heard also in some cases they feel like light workers got away with it. So whatever setups and the slander campaigns. Yeah. Okay. So we left and they tried to slander us. So they looked better. They didn't want people to know why we left. They felt like if people knew that we didn't deal with them anymore, people would maybe question why, and they didn't want people to know why we left because they knew that they were crappy. So they claimed that we were crazy and they didn't know why. We were just off the rocker. We just disappeared for no reason. Or we were unstable and made up some kind of nonsense as to why they had to leave, even though how many other readings? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 other readings, or at least stacks of cards prepared to go and do some readings. Not stacks of cards, decks stacked. So like 4 different stacks of decks and a book that I know I'll be using for 4 separate readings over the next maybe week, probably a couple of days, we'll see. But this was one of the first kind of subsections and categories. There was this Atlantean water themed, island themed kind of energy playing out. War zone versus light worker, karmic versus light worker energy playing out. But then, sorry, that was a little loud. Also, I mean, yeah, emphasis on the modern day combat that they were spinning while repeating, if not these past life incarnations, then the embodiment of energy from this storyline, narrative, and timeline. Thank you. Divine Masculine says, I'm very proud of you. I hear high water. I've heard it a few times today. I heard it earlier, clairaudiently too. It's by Bishop Briggs. I love that one, actually. It's a really good one. It's one of my favorites. She wrote that one about her sister who died. Her sister was her best friend, or one of her best friends. And I will, if I post it, generally speaking, it's either been about my grandmother, who was, she was like a mom to me, or my husband, who was my very best friend. My grandmother and I were super telepathic, though. She knew it, too. It wasn't just me who noticed. She also believed in past lives. One of her favorite books, actually, was by Weiss. She would always tell me about this. She's so cute. Many Lives, Many Masters. And I love her. She had her quirks, and nobody's perfect, but she was my nan, and I love her. Cheers. But the reason for this particular stack and calling out these energies at the beginning was because they've been playing around in mine. And not even just in my energy. I've been picking it up for the last few weeks again, but I haven't mentioned most of what I've been picking up because they're just not relevant. But then they decided to play it in my face at my home address again, and I've got issues with that. they're the ones who are in trouble, right? Gratitude, relaxation, for trying to disturb the peace. Because they think if they disturb, these are Atlantean cards. They think if they disturb people's peace, then they can block their manifestations or their ships from coming in. They can block their movement forward or their progress in life. That's what they think. Sound and music. I did just hear that. High water. Creative expression. So doing art, using music, marriage. This may have to do with divine counterparts coming together, because I was just getting there was something that popped up earlier today, and it was a piece of technology that takes electrical currents and then translates them into music notes. And somebody said something about it being like a date idea. This was in reverse. So their attempts at black magic have failed. They were trying to disturb the peace and the play of the light worker. The light workers. Claiming that they were something that they were not. And then also, I've mentioned this reference point before. Where this is High Priestess, 7 pillars. Something about trying to take out the High Priestess. They did not want people to know the truth, or they did not want, look at the information sitting at the top of the mountain, this heart chakra energy. The dream I had was of transmission at the top of the mountain, like spiritual connection, or downloads, right? Like healing, imbuing energy or Reiki even into the earth so that it could help heal the earth, or it send it across the ley lines to the different points in the earth grid. But there was this incarnation where I knew that there was an island going down, and I also knew that there was enough time for me to evacuate the island. So I did, but I also knew that I needed to stay to make sure that the energy was imbued properly, so that even though the place that I was standing in was not going to be there anymore, the energy and the coding, that's what it is, the codes would still be in the earth, and they would, even thousands of years later, grow into crystals through the earth, if not in that place, then through the grid lines where they were connected to. Now, the place where that island went down is actually connected to the grid ley line of where I am currently now, so there's a crossover there. But I knew that I needed to stay in this previous incarnation in order to code these frequencies down. Got everybody on the ship, my daughter and my twin flame included. There were a couple of them, number of them in fact, and I sent them off knowing that if they didn't go when I was sending them, they wouldn't have time to escape, or they would still be affected by the fallout, and I didn't want them to be close enough for it to impact them at all. So I sent them away. And drowned. This is what happened. But I knew that was coming. And I stayed anyway. I just picked that up. Crown chakra attack. See, these are people who want people to be afraid of either speaking the truth or holding knowledge, but you see that download information, this transfer of information up towards the divine. That's what I sent down into the earth. So that those who needed to come back and connect could connect back up. Like basically pick up off with the coding. But just like in that other space and timeline and energy where you had greedy people who wanted this perceived power for themselves for just the status or corrupt purposes, they were willing to create conflict and war zones with a slight work in a space of peace. And look at what they did to our lives. Well, I'm waged war on your life because you walked away from me. Yeah, I walked away from you because I saw you were that type of person. You were not one of us light workers living in peace and harmony on Atlantis, so to speak. Okay? You were the outsiders trying to invade in 1222, 7722. They were disturbing the peace and the positivity. They didn't want to grow or learn. They wanted to control and dominate and be right when they were wrong. They had no sense of balance, so they tried to imbalance others. Like I said, the great crystal. And they wanted to take whatever perceived power that they thought was there and take it for themselves. Or even just, this is like copying light workers, like pretending to be high priests or high priestesses when they weren't, pretending to be powerful people or spiritual people when they weren't, slandering good people and claiming to be good people when they're not. So there's that. That's what they did. But it's the same thing with many lives. You notice how there are often wars in the same places over different centuries. Like the same regions will go back and have wars, if not with each other again, then with other arenas or other people in the same area. In some cases, it could be because, like, the concept of the Palestine versus the Islamic nations, where one, basically they already had an issue before it was thought to be sorted out, and then some extremists picked an issue and there were combats that happened again. That's the very short baseline version of it. And there's way more to it than that, so don't let that simplification derail you from how serious of a situation that this is. But often, even in some situations like that, and even in the ones that don't, especially in the ones that don't, they're past life people coming back into the incarnations later down the line that still have issues with those same territories. So they're basically reliving past life beef or past life trauma with the same people or the same regions or the same places that they had issues with in a different life. People who were combat soldiers like their whole lives, and even who died in that in another life, if they come back into this life, sometimes they come out fighting, so to speak. It just depends on the person. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes people are just malicious, like little karmic demons. But sometimes there's more to it than that. Let's do this one. Now, Lemuria and Atlantis are not the same place or reference, but there are a lot of parallels and crossovers between the energy. They're both typically peaceful. They also both have like water or island kind of energies. They both have ties to the crystal codes, crystal technology in use. And they could be said to be the same in some cases, but there are specific quartz crystals called Lemurian seed quartz. There are plenty of people who sell regular quartz as Lemurian seed quartz, but Lemurian is different. It usually has a specific little, often triangular notch, crystal notch in it. It's a natural thing that happens, and it is an indication of a specific Lemurian crystal. Shine your light. Yeah, they were jealous and tried to copy or compete or knock people's luck. Try to disturb the stability of others, keep them from growing, evolving the butterfly. Freedom. They wanted to block people off. Crown chakra in reverse. They didn't want people to know themselves, know how to get out of these situations, because they didn't want people to manifest. I hear she makes us look bad. And not even based on anything that's being said or done towards or about them. Just they feel like the success of the light workers makes them look bad in comparison. Like they feel like, I hear dull and dingy. It sounds like a sock to me. They feel like wear nice, bright, white, shiny, freshly cleaned socks, and they're these dull, dingy, they're supposed to be white, but they're kind of gray looking socks, comparatively speaking. Or, they feel like, so one, you outshine us, is one of their complaints. There's a passion flower in that. The blue butterfly too. Tony Soanes, when he was alive, he used to tell me that passion flowers reminded him of me. He used to grow them. Mount Shasta. Okay. Journey to wholeness. So there's a level of, there's the mountain again, energy, coding going upward. And it's all about healing here. It's another passion flower. She makes us look bad. So in some cases, our successes make them feel unsuccessful, but in other cases, they try to slander us. And they feel if we seem stable to people, then they look like liars because they called us unstable, for example. Or if we are, if people notice that we're kind or we're helpful or whatever it is, then they feel like they're going to look bad because they said that we were these mean, terrible people, to try to justify whatever horrible things they were doing to us. And that's when they often try to, it's covert abuse, poke and prod and bully behind the scenes to incite a reaction from you, because then they try to smear that reaction to abuse as, see, I told you they're not very nice, while hiding the fact that they threw stones at you first, which is the only reason you had to turn around to holler at them to tell them to cut it out. They're mean, they yelled at me. Bitch, you threw a stone at the back of our head. Fuck you. Yeah, here, caught on spiritual CCTV, though. Yeah, you thought you got away with it, but karma didn't miss a beat. Honey, neither did I. Like stepping through, precisely. Neither did I, with my eyes closed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we put out their little tantrum fires. Harmonic flight. Mm-hmm. Take this leap of faith. Harmonic, right? Harmonious. Something that warring people are not. You left, you walked away. Like they're mad that people vacated Atlantis because they wanted the place for themselves. You turned it into ash. You turned it into nothing. You suck everything dry. Of course we left. You don't even want to be around you. You know why you want to be around us? Because we distract you from the fact that you suck. Vampires. No pun intended. 'Cause the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Shake it off, shake it off. I heard that she really is the real deal. You're just figuring that out now. All right, congratulations. I guess today's your day. Yeah. Enough. Expanded awareness, awakened awareness, heart chakra healing, unfurling back to love. There's no healing for them. I mean, it took you had to be basically in jail before you realized you were wrong, karmic. And it shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take that much. Radical expansion. Yeah, so we're taking these quantum leaps finally. Evolution. Furred and feathered friends. I wanna go where the people are. There's soul family coming in. Part of your world. 8722. Healing. Full chakra expansion too. You remember that the karmics had all 12 chakras blocked, but the light workers do not. Yeah, but guess what they get for trying to block people's crown chakras. We'll see. I hear nothing good. To be very clear, also, I genuinely don't wish harm on any of these people. Do I put up defenses and often have an attitude against them now? Yeah. But my attitude depends on you. My personality's who I am. There's a difference. So do I wish them harm? No. But will I be accepting them back after they tried to cause harm? Also no. Could you be so heartless? Because they were cold, trying to disturb the peace or stability of people's home lives and children. Yeah, see? Children, marriage, toxic relationship. Yeah. What was that song? Livingston? Surprise. This is not my first night. Nope. 1234. Thank you to my neighborhood. This long route taught me to be strong and rise above the crowd. They don't like this truth at all. 8922. Meaning that they were such bullies that they made us decide that we never wanted to be anything like them. So they got together and thought that they'd get some quick money. I hear bang for your buck by, I'd say, militantly abusing people by pretending to be good people when they were not. Yeah, see, but they're gossip. And their attempts to scare people into submission with confusion tactics, yeah, that backfired. Great fortune in reverse. Now they're going to have to pay, wow, for causing damage to people, putting people in risk, a risk of injury or death, and then also whatever financial damages, opportunities, pain, suffering, and losses that they cause, whether this be people were so busy dealing with that in a court of law or within a medical system that they didn't have time to work, or that they had to recover, which affected their work, or like all these different aspects and angles. There are damages for pain and suffering, which means that they wasted people's time and lives. Like, yeah, you can get back the money that they cost you, but that time that they wasted and the unnecessary bullshit that they put you through, yeah, well, that happened. And so that's a damage called pain and suffering that they're going to have to pay out to me and people who resonate with this. But then there's lost wages, and then there's also potential wages, lost potential earnings. Lost wages and potential earnings are different. Lost wages are what you had but you lost, or what you were cost, and then what you could have potentially earned is if you weren't moving forward still dealing with all this nonsense and stuff, or if you hadn't been moving forward dealing with all the nonsense and the stuff, how much could you have made? How much did you have the potential to make if they weren't obstructing your schedule and your health and your energy levels and time and routine and all those things with bullshit? Trying to get attention, trying to get something, get their lick back because you walked away, but then not wanting to take accountability for it. You're bums. Yeah, have fun with that tower moment. You wanted to put burdens on other people's backs. That's your cross to bear. That karma is yours, dude, and yours alone to own. Yeah, there's slander about light workers. Wow. Backfired. People see that. You see, they tried to hurt people and make people sick or allow them to function less, right? Render them in a space of less function and capacity because they thought that it mirrored their slander, which was, oh, those people are just lazy or crazy. See, they can't even take care of themselves. Meanwhile, these karmics were hurting people to the point where their medical expenses were astronomical, not only in general, but to a point that they weren't before because those injuries didn't exist before the abusers caused them. But then also, messing with people's, again, time, health, routine, hurting people, making them sick, messing with their work, messing with their schedule, and then blaming them for the outcome of it. That's not somebody being unhinged or unwell or lazy or incapable of taking care of themselves. That is somebody who's being repeatedly abused and injured and who medically has to take the time to re-regulate and to heal from that before being able to fully run with their life again or get fully back on their feet. And the only people who would be blaming that person for the damage that's being done, for the symptoms of what they're choosing to do to that person, is the abusers doing it. So that's a red flag. And they waved it right around over their own heads while they were pointing fingers at us. Made themselves look dumb. All for what? All the concealed child abuse. Because they were being childish. Right? Like I said, these people came after my child and I, affected my business and my child and I. But then when the truth about what they were doing to us came out, they had the audacity to complain that the truth coming out was going to damage their reputation and affect their job, and the schools of their kids probably wouldn't want them around. But you see, they didn't care about kidnapping and isolating and stealing from and slandering my child and I and trying to damage my work. And you know what I mean? So why are you complaining that the consequence of people knowing that you did that to me makes you look bad and might damage yours? Bitch, that's karma. Stay seated. Oh, my kid. No. No, you were gunning for somebody else and theirs. Yeah, with a karmic male. And here's the thing. One of the people that recruited the mailman that I had to file a protection order against, they drove me at one point to file a protection order against the same person that they then turned around and ganged up against me with. I have messages of them telling me how terrible this person is, but then they went behind my back and tried to help this person kill me. Now, they don't want to admit that that's what happened, but that is what psychology and the law says would happen. It's called grievous bodily harm. Also, SHB 1236, it's a law passed through Washington. And U.S.C. section title 18-42. No, 18-142. This particular person also informed me that drugs were being sold and exchanged in the building that my daughter is being held hostage in the residence that my daughter is being held hostage in. So she knew about drug deals going on and then went and ganged up and hung out with and associated with the drug dealers, including one of them that she drove me to file a protection order against and then turned around to gang up on me with afterwards. So nothing that they say is credible, and everything that they did makes them look worse. Nothing that they said about me is valid, and it makes them look worse. But they're not special. They're just textbook narcissists. So take what you will from this. Because this is collective letter in reverse. And what did I say? That particular person is the sister of the mailman, so that's why she's been doing that. She's also a Cancerian, so there's that card in reverse. Toxic, though. Sneaky, manipulative, nasty. Bully. Liar, liar. Pantaloons on fire. Snakes. Good fortune and ring in reverse. So in some cases, these people are getting divorces, especially if they use their marriage to target people, or it was a sham altogether. In other cases, the ring is not about an actual marriage. It's about a commitment or a connection or a relationship. Not necessarily romantic. They thought that by working together, they would get money, but it's actually cost them money. Yeah, they're upset now. Fighting amongst themselves, I would say, is what I'm picking up. Blue Falcon energy. One of them is mad at the other, and they're saying, she's going to sue us all for what? She's going to press charges against us all for what? For what you all chose to do together. One or the other. You all did it together. You all did it. Expectation in reverse. They're upset. Feel that. Right in the crown. They're trying to do power of 3 spells to protect themselves, but what they're doing is calling on the same divine source that's telling me what they're doing. Where do you think this information's coming from? No. That was a crown chakra attack. You're not calling for protection. You're trying to attack my crown chakra for whistleblowing on you. You don't need protection from me. I'm telling people we need protection from you. Stay the fuck seated. 99-19. 99-22. The crown chakra card came out in reverse. There's that. What's their karma? What's their karma? Good luck. Not an actual death and ending of situations, ending of family dynamics. Is what their family's breaking apart or will be, I'd say, because they tried to terrorize other people. Also, their money going in the toilet, especially if they were married and getting money through the marriage, or let's say this was a karmic female and it was the masculine she was with that made the money. Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, see, there it is. He's done. He's either down with her or he's leaving. There has been I've been picking it up. There, in some cases, some of these karmic males, like the groups of them, there's a main karmic energy, and then some of them had supporting friends, and some of the karmic females had a part in things, and then some of the karmic males, I mean, they also did. They tolerated it. They allowed more recruits to happen within their own little... But let's say it was a couple. Eventually, in some cases, the karmic male just wanted to leave the divine feminine alone, or just didn't want to be involved with whatever it was. In some cases, they also kind of had a crush on her. Some cases, that's part of a motive for people targeting. It's so weird. It's like they try to attack the things that they actually like. Not always, but in some cases. And in some cases, that was the karmic female's part of her jealous reasoning for attacking the divine feminine. She felt like her boyfriend or her husband felt like divine feminine was attractive, and so she had an issue with that. And in some cases, maybe that's why her husband or boyfriend didn't want to take part in the bullying of Divine Feminine. Like, secretly had a crush on her. I hear better than my wife. He thought he he thought she was better than the one he picked or ended up with. I hear it's too late now. I've got kids with her. That's what he told himself, I guess. Yeah, I hear, and Divine Feminine wouldn't want me now, even if, well, anyway, moving on. That's the problem, is she didn't to begin with, especially if he was dating somebody that was a friend of hers. But they see that friend didn't care because she wasn't a friend back to Divine Feminine. She just got jealous and bullied Divine Feminine. And see, her husband, in some cases, was willing to go off with other people. And so Divine Feminine was the one person and friend that wouldn't. And she would have called the dude out. She would not have gone off and ran off with this karmic female's dude. She would have called the dude out. She would have told the karmic female. 10222. So what she did was bully the one ally that she had, because Divine Feminine didn't sleep with her husband, nor did she want to, but other people did. And she found that out the hard way. Or she found that out the hard way and then bullied Divine Feminine because she expected her to be like the rest, and then found out the hard way that actually she bullied away the one ally who not only would have told her if her husband was being weird, but would have stood up for her, would have had her back, and would have not put her in that position and tried to help protect her from that. She fucked up. And that's her issue. That's fine. That's why she's mad. But anyway, or at least part of it. People are weird. Yes, they tried to put an end to the light workers. That's a no. So calla lilies. It's usually death. Yeah, see, sight. They could not put an end to the light workers. They tried with confusion. Yeah, they tried to cause confusion by stealing mail and shit. There are a couple of energies I'm picking up on. Oh, you know what? Though both of the masculines in that are Leo. Two separate situations, but they parallel even with the zodiacs. Leo masculines with wandering eyes. It's wild, dude. But either way, some of these karmic males did not want to be involved anymore. And then when the karmic females that they were with got themselves backlash, maybe Divine Feminine had to speak up or stand up for herself or press charges because they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't leave her alone, violating her space and her rights and her boundaries, even at her home. Like home address. Then she went crying and blubbering to the, I know why she did this, because I've seen her do this before and he reacted differently before, but he didn't fall for it this time. And I've seen that actually with another one. Both of them water signs. I'll tell you about that. Different masculine though, Taurus, or like a earth sign, maybe not Taurus, but an earth sign energy. It's the same energy, different people, different groups of karmics, different timelines, different locations, but I've seen it over and over again. So let me explain one and then I'll finish up with the other. She went and blubbered and cried to her husband or her boyfriend that Divine Feminine was being mean because she's speaking up about the abuse and she's trying to hold the karmic female accountable, and instead of being like, oh, fuck that bitch, towards Divine Feminine, like he did before, the last time the karmic female cried because she got called out for all the messed up things she was doing or involved with, or maybe claiming to be somebody's friend and then not standing up for them when they were being abused. Like, well, a real friend would never do, by the way. Let alone go ally with domestic abusers behind their so-called friend's back. I mean, like, why would you ask somebody to be your bridesmaid and then go behind their back with a domestic abuser? Because that happened. You're my best friend, one of my best friends. Really? Because I don't know anybody that treats their best friend like that. But you tried. Crazy pants. Oh, you pushed me away. Gee, I wonder why. Crazy. Can you imagine? So before she went blubbering, Divine Feminine's telling on me. It hurts my feelings. She tried to play the emotional manipulation water sign card, which Pisces and Cancerians are prone to do. And he was basically, fuck that Divine Feminine. And it's fine. You, whatever, say what you want, do what you want. We'll get you out of it, etc. And they started targeting Divine Feminine harder. 107.22. Now that she got more flack and caught hell for it again, because they didn't stop. And they kept lurking, at minimum. But it was more than that, much more. No, return to sender. Transmit, thank you. Well, they're in trouble now. This time, yeah, here. This is why he wants to divorce me. I wonder why. She says sarcastically. Because you're not a good lady. But you want all the flowers. Heartless wench. So now she's gone to him again, blubbering. But instead of saying, fuck Divine Feminine, and we'll get out of this, and, coddling her, and cajoling her, and consoling her, and the whole thing. Now, and that's the outcome she thought she'd get. She thought she'd get sympathy from him when she went and cried victim. But he knows she's not the victim. He knows that they were wrong and that they should have left the Divine Feminine alone. And he says, I told you to leave her alone. So now he's mad at his wife because she's gotten him in the middle of her drama because she didn't know how to mind her own fucking business. And not only does she not know how to mind her own business, she can't hold her damn own either. Because she was a flying monkey, so she needs flying monkeys. 109.16. Yeah, woe is me, woe is me. And she went crying to a Leo. Sun card. Woe is me, the jellyfish, the Cancerian to the Leo, the sun. Told you. I just split the deck, by the way. That's how that happened. But anyway. Rich gent. So he was either funding her, or he can't anymore, or he doesn't want to anymore. Something about, I had kids with her, it's too late now. Yeah, well, they tried to fuck other people's lives and kids up. Yep, there's no success, it's like she wanted to be some kind of star. Also, I'm seeing that he's seeing that if she started trying to copy and dress like the Divine Feminine. He says, even her Halloween costume. Yeah, you're weird. People are weird. Anchor. High honor. See, they can no longer. What Divine Feminine wants nothing to do. Stable Divine Feminine is high honored Divine Feminine wants nothing. She won't come near them. Or let them near her. Hope. Yeah. Hope. Key. So they were hoping that they were just being anxious about being locked out of her life and maybe there was a way in, or they were hoping that it could be undone. More specifically, I feel like so they wouldn't catch consequences, but the damage is done. Also, my daughter's still actively currently being held hostage, so the problem is not solved and it's not until she's home safe, you're liable. Thank you. No, I know some other people who've been going through similar situations. This is just textbook narcissism and how narcissists weaponize the court and leverage anything that they can, including children, against people. But this also can apply on a different level. It's not always about kids. Like I said, they'll leverage anything, people's money, career, attempted reputation. Let's do Rumi. Hi, T. Mr. Sons just popped in. I love you. I miss you. Nice to see you, buddy. Hugs. Don't walk away from me then. Come with me. You know I need to move sometimes. He says, you said hugs. You asked for hugs, then you walk away. Touche. Sorry. Love you. Come with me. Okay. Star Mother. Yeah, see? These people are not loving. This is the karmic who tried to masquerade as a divine feminine. She wasn't. Layla. It's reminding me of the song Layla by Eric Clapton, and I love that one. There's a very particular acoustic version or a live version of that I like. It is an acoustic version, but it's a live acoustic, and it's my favorite. There's not another one quite like it. The lover and the beloved. So these false or karmic marriages or relationships falling apart because they tried to pretend to be divine feminines. They wanted to be seen. They wanted to try to destiny swap and harvest. They wanted to try to copy the blueprint of, in my case, freaking Angel. Like, let's say in my case, they saw, oh, she's a mom. Well, I'm a mom, so I can copy all the other stuff she does. Or, oh, well, she's into spiritual stuff. Well, I can get into that, and I can try to take her place and compete with her and make money. Or, like, you're fucking crazy. And that's why it's not for you, because it's not about those things. It never was. It never was. Not for those of us who are genuinely tapped in and in it for the right reasons. And you never were. And if you started out that way, karmics, you lost track of the path a long time ago. 144, 44, you veered onto the dark side a long time ago. Exactly. Just split the deck. Divine discontent. So God's not happy with you. When it's why you're not happy with the divine. It's why you're not happy with your life and why you're attacking light workers. Or why you felt like you should have to, and why your marriages and relationships are falling apart. And you know what? Some of these people freaking complained. They even went to a judge, dude, and complained. She says this, she says that, she says that I'm going to get a divorce. Well, some of them are now. So fuck you and prophecy fulfilled. She's crazy. No, bitch. And sometimes crazy is just being right a little bit too early. You're welcome. Rude. You're trying to prove me wrong didn't fix your fucked up marriage, did it? Should have minded your own business and focused on that instead of me and my life. Next. Says Divine Feminine, crazy pants. 1, you have no connection. You're tapped into nothing but the darkness. And that's not helping you, because that was a trap and you fell for it. The human gift is in reverse. You get nothing because you were demon. Blessings in reverse. You get nothing because you did nothing but try to take from people, and which is why the divine hand is coming to knock you upside the head now. Trying to send crown chakra attacks, but calling it power of 3 protect prayers. No. Enough. Crazy pants. Yeah, merciful mother. Like I said, we're past the mercy and compassion. Now they're getting justice and karma. Zadkiel. At your service. At divine service. Thank you, God. And hallelujah. Let me lighten the energy up a little bit. Good Lord, that got a little bit heavy. Just for a minute. You know, the cat thinks also that you're just a waste of space. He just woke up from his nap and hopped into the litter box, karmics. And I would say that that's probably what, well, that's probably what we think of you. Probably. Apparently, I've never been on live TV before. And apparently, if you know, you know. The apparently kid. So cute. He reminded me of, like, I could see it like a tiny version of his grandpa. It was so freaking cute. Apparently. Cheers. I just heard kids say the darndest things. Isn't that a show? Isn't, or maybe it's like a mini series on America's Funniest Home Videos or something. I think so. Something like that. Let's do this one. Trust your inner compass and be led from within. Look at those prismatic fractals. Those are pretty. Gentle force. So this did come out in reverse. I'm not reading reversals, but it did catch my attention in reverse. And I think there's something to that because we've had to be really tall and stern. And I've dropped a couple F-bombs in this one. And that's fine. It was well warranted given the fact that people have been trying to kill my collective and I. Pink dolphin, exactly. Divine feminine. Look at that belly. Celebration, unbridled joy, open heart. Yeah, see, karmic is spooked about how quickly I can go from being very stern and sharp and octave might drop, tone, or the tone goes up, but definitely the volume. And then I can settle back down into a really soft, gentle, quiet energy. It's that alchemy energy, transmutational energy. But the reason for that being because they're getting the energy that they deserve and receive from me. They do not deserve my softness. They put myself and other people in survival, battle, warrior mode. You get the energy you deserve. I treat people accordingly. 120, 22. Some people might tell you I'm a raging bitch, and some people will tell you I'm the sweetest, kindest, most generous person who will give you the clothes off of her back. And they're both correct. But the question is, what did they do to either deserve my help or what did they do to deserve my warrior defense? What did they do to deserve me being stern to them or cold towards them? Because the ones who are complaining, they leave out that part. Or they're just genuinely that delusional, like grandiose, narcissistic entitlement delusion, that they genuinely think that it's okay for them to do whatever they're doing that's hurting and upsetting people. but that it's so offensive and it's not okay for people to say anything about what they're doing or have a problem with it. And that's psychotic, frankly. 121:22. So, hellfire or holy water? I treat people accordingly. The flavor you taste depends on how you decide to treat her first. And my personality is who I am. My attitude depends on you. There's a difference. Rejuvenate, recovery, time to heal. It's safe to stop. Yeah, so this is about being able to slow down instead of having to zig and zag just to dodge the bullets, so to speak, that are being thrown at people. Bounteous. I did hear that. The bounty. This word keeps coming out in this reading. It's not one that I usually say. Bounty, or what was the other one? Something similar. It was a synonym. The harvest or something like that. Fruition. It wasn't either of those, but it was something along the same lines. Generously given, relationships coming together, and also clear waters, clear vision, confirmation, right timing, and opportunity. So there's healing here, washing away these old emotions, cycles, timelines, energies, being able to see clearly, see yourself, see the situations, also each other in relation to these divine counterpart connections or soul family coming through. You know what this is reminding me of? Larimar, which I do have some. I think it's in the other room. Let's go grab that. I found it. I'm gonna check a couple spots though. Larimar with Amethyst. Ride the waves. Life lessons, you'll get through this. Cleansing, release the old, energetic tune-up and new beginnings. I hear that. Karmics are saying we really were holding the light workers back. You're just realizing that you held yourselves back too. While trying to fight us and convince us that you weren't trying to hold us back or that you weren't holding us back, you were holding yourselves back too. While trying to convince us that we were wrong for living our lives the way we were or moving forward with our lives the way we were, and trying to convince us that you were right and we were wrong, you held yourselves back because you were not right. And you were arguing the person or the people who were. What a waste of everybody's time, wasn't it? The waterfall. Unbridled confidence, inner power, claiming your place. Exactly. And that's why also trying to copy us didn't work for you. Oh, she's a mom, and try to copy her and all the other aspects and spirituality and stuff like that. Or whatever the dynamic, whatever similarities that they thought that they saw. I can try to pretend to be a divine feminine then, 111. Except for you fail to consider that, or simply take into any kind of consideration that you will not have the same outcome or effect that I will, because I'm doing what God is calling me to do, and God was never calling you to try to step on my toes or copy me, and you're not taking into consideration my level of divine favor, preference, and anointing. Many people are called, a few are called rather, many people who aren't called are chosen, even less are chosen than who are called. Few are called, more are chosen. Excuse me. Few are chosen, many are called, more show up that aren't called or chosen. And these karmics weren't called or chosen. Now, they may have been called to join the collective, but they chose the dark path. I'm ready to be done with this reading. Can you tell? Plenty, prosperity, reading, receiving the fullness of life. It's not what that says. It does not say reading. So you're saying that they were trying to copy readers or compete with them, or telling people that they were wrong for being, there it is, practitioners. I heard that last night too. Yeah, the Bible says this, and the Bible also says, touch not mine anointed. Don't forget that part, because it sounds like you did. Do my prophets no harm. Like I said, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. Less are called or chosen that show up. Meaning more people show up and claim that they're this or they're that than they actually are, and they're not. Some people really are called. Less than that are chosen. I hear sick of your shit. Everybody's sick of your shit. It's towards the karmics. Fertility. They're having no new growth in life. Are you all right? Reflections in reverse. See, they tried to compete where they couldn't compare. Just did a reading about cleansing the past, washing away the past. Isn't it funny? I do have fire decks over there, but I didn't pull out the fire decks. These are all water decks. This whole reading was made of them. Largely. So they couldn't compete where they couldn't compare. They had dreams to take people down, but they were not inspired dreams. They were certainly not by the divine. Now they're being forced to look in their own reflection, though, and see the fact that they blocked themselves. They wasted their own time. Like I said, while they were trying to convince us that we were wrong and that they were right, they were setting themselves up for failure. They were fighting the truth that would have benefited them by trying to fight those who spoke it. So they wasted their own time because it didn't make them right, and we're still not wrong. Hospice care. I taste chili, spicy chilies in my mouth. I want them. What is that? It's like a tamarind chili. Yum. Hospice care down there, or where you are, meaning like under your care. Farewell to the moon. I think you're saying that he's down there. Well, I guess so are you, both in comparison to me, but you know what I mean, with the fire. Adrift. Farewell to the moon. But the facility's still all right. That's good. Here for now. Goodness gracious. So there's vulnerability in reverse. Whatever situations we're putting people in vulnerable states, those are being adjusted and strengthened. Adrift in reverse, it means, like, yes, usually this is giving the space to the divine to just carry you, to rest, to kind of float and drift. But in this case, this is being adrift with no purpose or direction, not knowing how to fix things or which direction to turn. That's stopping. I don't usually read these in reverse, but that's what I'm getting. So farewell to the moon. Also, this is upright. So the full moon is on the 13th. I also have a stack of cards out here to do. I have at least four readings. There are 4 separate stacks of decks. I haven't pulled any of them yet, so I'll bring them over here stack by stack and we'll do it like this. But I was called, while looking for one deck, to pull out a few more. They were grabbing my attention and getting prepared to do 4 separate reads. One of them is a moon reading. I mentioned my grandmother earlier too, grandmother energy. But this is about, releasing the cycles where you just had to keep going and pushing and fighting. Like, yes, giving it to the divine, but not having to move with no sense of direction, or I feel like stability. And the grandmother energy is about sisterhood. Healing of mother wounds, first of all. But then you had these karmic females who were going after light workers. Oh, okay. In some cases, this is about the older, like grandmother energy, the karmic toxic, or mother energy that was like grandmother to your kids that was targeting you or your family. It seems narcissistic to me. In other cases, this is those other people on the outside, like people who were claiming to be friends and things like that, who for some reason I thought, oh wait, didn't you just say something? My childhood home burnt down? Yeah, that's why I said that. But he's in Vegas, in not California. You're both down to me, whether it's Vegas or California. I'm up on the East Coast. Oh, are there fires in Vegas right now? I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know. Unless I'm confused, please correct me if. Gotcha. So it's just like past energies. Okay. I thought you meant that he was still in a residence there, a residence like in California, or like a home in California, a living home. That makes more sense. I'm glad you're all right. Brown mermaid, this one. So
you had these people who had no issue creating generational curses or trying to interfere with others, breaking them. So-called friends or family. Block that out and clear them out. Thank you. Reclaiming your authenticity. And if there were people trying to play with spell work or magic, that's being cleared out. Yeah, see, Lemuria. But those people who were trying to target divine feminines, they're not getting opportunities to come back. If they were fallen masculines or karmic masculines, or that's who they ganged up with, 122, yeah, we're not going back. The present in reverse, we're not going back. It's the past. We are receptive to new love and new life and new aspects of the mission and the journey, because these people, dealing with these people and these cycles of energy that were never okay and will never be okay, it's not worth the sacrifice, right? Having people like that in your life is not worth the stress and the headache and the issues and losses on whatever different level that they cause. It's just not. So, there's a karmic blubbering. Please give me another chance. That's the only way I can get out of legal trouble for everything I did to you, for what I did to you, for all I did to you with these people. Oh, so you were part of gang stalking. No, take the L, dude. See, one of them just got aggressive. Well, fine, since you won't give me a chance, I'm gonna be nasty. Yeah, see, that's why I didn't accept your faux apology. If you were genuine, no, I don't trust you, I'm not giving you a chance to come back and stab me in the back would not equate to, fine, fuck you, then I'm gonna hurt you again. Yeah, that's why I said no. Because I don't believe you. You're full of shit, and you just proved my point again.
Hi, baby. What are you doing, little boy? Hi, honey. Go on, you little monkey. You're just so cute and sweet. Can I help you? You want a snack? Have a good nap, baby. He's my baby. I love you. Come on, boy. Just a cutie pie. Oops, that's too many. Watch out, watch out.
Oh, karmic male is scared because he feels like, let's do some more Reiki. He feels like the officials are coming for him. He says he knows that they are. The L bus. I'm like, what do you mean? In New Jersey? Can you explain that? Because something else about New Jersey came up this morning. I think I picked up a college from there, or somebody that went, what was it, like, I don't remember which one it was. I can look it up. But the New Jersey came up a few times today. I'm glad you're happy, but take the L. The L bus. Is that a type of bus, or is that the number on it? Northampton. You know, sometimes they have letters or numbers, like
I remember the school buses at school used to have letters. A bus or C bus. Only bus. Oh, I got it. L for Lakewood. Okay. Well, we just did a water reading, so that's suitable. That's hilarious. You had some adventures then, huh? Cali and Jersey. You know what I noticed? Just headlines popping up that seemed like the Biebers were running off to take vacation. And we're seen at a bar, which it's like maybe they're just getting dinner, you never really know. But all their friends and their family and like people in Hollywood, their houses are burning and stuff like that. And they just took off for vacation. Meanwhile, Selena is over here donating $5 million to charity for the fires. I just think it said a lot about who they claim to be versus who she killing with kindness. Who she is. Not that she's perfect, and I never said that, and I don't think that she ever has too, frankly. My mind and me. Precisely. And I know now somebody sees me like this, and they won't feel alone now. My mind and me. I just got chills. Angel waves. And I know now somebody sees me like this, then they won't feel alone now. My mind and me. Cheers. 144.22. Here, turn your face towards the sun. Bye, Brianna. There's also elevation Reiki coming through. Also, the baby was not with them. Which again means not necessarily anything. Like maybe they were just trying to get away from the fires, and maybe, I don't know, whatever, celebrity stuff, paparazzi, like they didn't want to bring the boy out. Like there's a lot of stuff, but also it seems like I mean, we know this. Bieber has some mental health struggles, and he was even quoted saying that he thought that getting married would fix all of his problems, and then it didn't, which means that like he thought marrying Haley would make him happy and fix all his problems, and now that he's married, he's not happy. Like, he said that. He also, she looked like a clown when she did this. She said, it's hard to be the muse of a whole album. I saw this clip pop up a while ago. All just in passing, headlines and little clips, but enough to piece together. Yeah.
146:22. It's hard to be the muse of a whole album. She's trying to gas herself up. Meanwhile, in an interview, Bieber was asked like who the inspiration for his music is, and he said his ex-girlfriend, meaning Selena. Haley's over there trying to take credit for being the muse of an album, and Bieber is confessing that it's not her in interviews. It's just like they're not on the same page. And I don't think they were. Like, she stalked him and manipulated him into being with her for... She tried to pretend... Of course, I thought getting married would make me happy and fix all my problems. Like, you married a bad knockoff of Selena. Of course you're not happy. Of course you're not happy marrying the bad knockoff of the person who you really cared about, who you really loved, who you made some bad choices in relation to. And also, I will say this, the media definitely didn't help. Like, the industry... If you don't not let it tear you apart, it will tear you apart. Like, they try to tear people apart. Couples all the time, relationships are rigged for PR, or situations where they try to lure people into bad spots or tempt them. Or look at Diddy. Like, how many people do you think ended up in situations like that where they thought that they were going out for a party for the evening and then were assaulted, not cheating on their partner, but like, yeah, ended up in a situation like that. So, not good. Just not good. Maybe the boy was sick. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was with one of their parents. Maybe he was with, I don't know, a nanny. Like, maybe, it doesn't, there's a lot to that. And before picking all of that apart, I just, as a human, try to give a little bit of understanding and grace. Like, you don't necessarily know the whole picture. No, it doesn't look good, especially when they ran off seemingly on vacation and they left everybody, while again, the person that they've been bullying is over here donating millions to the cause to try to help. So I think there's something to that. But on the flip side, what if they had already planned that trip before the fires? Or what if they didn't know what to do and just thought, well, we can go somewhere else until everything dies down and see what the damage is when we get back. Like, you just don't... On one hand, people need to just leave other people alone. Yeah, heard that. It's the stuff you don't think about, or like the media doesn't. No, they don't talk about that stuff. They just make presumptions on how it looks from the outside, and sometimes it is. But also, that's how slander campaigns work. They cherry pick information that looks a certain way, or they have a little tiny fragment of information, or like a photo of somebody at a bar eating dinner. Like, maybe they just wanted tacos or something, and that was where they went. I don't know. You know, I don't like Haley. My OG's here. I'm not a Bieber fan, okay? A Baldwin fan. I don't like that. I don't like the mean girl thing. But just from a human logic perspective, I think there's more to it. It does kind of look funny, but everybody's evacuating. They just evacuated a lot further, I guess. Somebody says, yeah, and they left everybody behind. And that's the issue, really. That's the thought behind the issue. It's like all the people that they know are there. There's a lot to it. People that they knew needed help and reached out. Like, a lot of the people that they know have their own money to get themselves out of spots, you know. If people that they knew reached out, would they help?
is a question, you know? Like, they could still technically, like Selena, donate money from where they are. But would they? And do they have it? Because there was also talk about, I mean, it's true. He hasn't been working and putting out music the way he was because he's been struggling mentally and emotionally. And so she's still been spending exorbitant amounts of money. She makes much less than he does. But he's not bringing it in the way he was. So anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there. That's their stuff and their issues. But there's a lot to it. And it's often stuff that you either don't hear or don't think about. Or the media twists out of context or doesn't report. In this case, I'll be minding my business. Me in that industry. No. I can understand why. I just heard something about the Miracle Network. Isn't that a charity? The Miracle Network. What is that for? Is that for kids, maybe? Just heard apparatus Reiki. Apparatus is usually in like an object or a tool. Like if you have a cleaning apparatus, it's like a cleaning tool or an object. And so we're being gifted with tools, either spiritually or on the earth plane. This could be resources like money, or this could be information or an opportunity, or a combination of this. But it's that elevation Reiki. It's to grow. It's also your amplification Reiki. Oh, okay. You may notice some ascension flu symptoms. You just got a little wave of nausea and like a ping right in the crown chakra, but it's clearing out. It's like clearing the crown, and the nausea was like, it was not that, but it was also for like a split second. I felt my stomach turn. Also a little tension in the chest, almost on the shoulder. Something about making sure to get stress relief, or like referencing like aches and pains, maybe taking a nice bath to relax. Whether it's a resource of information or opportunity, apparatus. It's something that will help you grow, move forward, ascend on the journey of your life, on the mission, on the spiritual mission. This could have to do with rebalancing something in your life, in your home life. This could have to do with finance and business. This could have to do with both. This could have to do with, my ear's ringing, hold on. I'm being told to be quiet. Thank you. It'll be different for different people, so I'm just going to let it be what it is. Somebody asks why there are so many options, because this is a general reading. There are almost 150,000 people in the singular Twin Flame Collective alone.
And then there are plenty of soulmates that branch out from that aren't twins. So, not everybody will have the same story. This is a general. Also has to do with variables. Like, certain things are fated and destined, right? But you have to align with that fate and destiny. Like, if you're fated to, I'm just getting a random analogy. If you're fated to be a race car driver, but you refuse to ever get behind the wheel of a car, you're not going to be a race car driver, are you? You know what I mean? Like, you have to align with that. You still have to do the work and put in the time and the effort. You have to work towards it and with it. You have the free will to reject that fate or destiny and refuse to do it, refuse the mission, but you don't get the blessings that come with it. I hope that helps. I'm glad. Oops. Your sovereignty Reiki, and I also hear interesting savior Reiki. Hold on. Good. Laughter is good medicine. Also serenity Reiki again, so balance of the system, sovereignty, standing excuse me, tall in that queendom energy. Apologize not to cough right in your ears. Also satiety Reiki, so feeling like full and satisfied, not necessarily within body, although yes, but in life. Like if you feel satisfied with in an emotional relationship, an emotional connection, it's because it's a healthy, functional connection. So this could be anything. You feel like your cup is filled. 159.22. Savior Reiki. That's different. I think that's a new, actually. I don't recall that one before. So this is calling and influencing people to be, I hear, their own sovereign savior, but also in other cases, and sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's one affects the other. It's like you stand up for yourself, and so it calls in other people, soul family, willing to do the same for you so that you don't have to do it, or you don't have to do it alone. There's the karmic male laughing, but he's delusional. So irrelevant. Just a heads up in case anybody picked up that frequency too. Well, you know. While we're here. Yeah. I just picked up that he was spooked to be called out. This is somebody that stalks my live feeds. It's giving incubus energy. Dark, no protection.
I know. I hear that turn your face towards the sun song again. There's something about karmics trying to weigh light workers down with like human or physical bonds. They felt like we were too ethereal. They felt like we were too, I hear flamboyant, happy, bubbly, too fairy-like, too angelic. Like they felt some kind of way. And they felt like they had to throw stones to knock us down. At all, let alone on a pedestal. Tempted to do that other reading. I think I need to wait. Gorgeous, I hear. Ex-ambassadors. Okay. And they felt like, it seems like body or beauty or image envy. I hear like a kid's cartoon song, I don't know. Little Einsteins. I don't know. I've never seen that, so I don't know where that's coming from. I think it became like a viral TikTok sound, possibly. Let's see, anything else? Inner healing Reiki is what I'm hearing, and I asked at first. You mean like inner soul or inner spiritual healing, or inner healing like in the physically in the body? And it can be both. It can be both for sure, because let's say like your emotions are stressed out, your spirit and your emotions are stressed out because of something that somebody's doing to hurt you in life. 16522, that can affect your physical body. The stress can make your body not work as well in some areas or have reactions. So yeah, it's like mental and emotional or spiritual stress and duress, but it manifests as something physical. So this is to do three things: to work to hit that physical side of things, to release the energy that is attached to it so that we can shift back out as best as possible, and then also to help align any appropriate professionals in whatever field of healing or medical arena that this particular aspect or portion is. For different people it may be a specific body part. For other people it may be more on a whole body or a cellular level. I mean, it could, stress affects a lot of things, the hormones and everything, sleep, eating everything. So this can help you align with the right practitioner. Just go with that flow. Not everybody needs that. Some things will just align more effectively physically once you get the rest of that stuff into check. And that's the key. But some people may need a little bit of extra care, especially if whatever result of that energy imbalance or that tension, especially if it's manifested physically to a point where you need that extra care. It's all right. I don't typically check the planetary alignments, or haven't, not in a while. I used to pretty regularly, but I don't. Really, I have other stuff mostly I've been working on doing. But it does help if you don't know what's up. Often I just intuit it. Sometimes I do stop to look it up. If I'm feeling something in particular, I'll check the calendar and say, oh, that's why this is shifting out of retrograde. Or But most of the time, I've had to pick and choose what I've had the energy for and to do. I used to do whole readings just about that stuff alone, separately, but between the survival schedule and everything else, often those, they call it straight out like it is readings, or the psychology readings, I find them to be pretty top priority. I'm a Gemini in 3 main aspects of my chart. In the communication sign, in the Lovers sign, which is interesting because Gemini is in the tarot, the Lovers. So I've got the Lovers card, the Lovers sign, in the Lovers house there. Also as my dominant sun sign. So I love doing those love readings. I used to do those predominantly. Those are my favorite to do. But and I'm not the only one who feels like this. When these people were coming between love connections and when they were creating war zones in our life, that was more important to understand so we could survive it than love and dating, I feel like. Now, in some cases, a real good, healthy connection would have absolutely been beneficial, and in a lot of cases, some of these, the ones that fell, they were supposed to come through and be that. One, because they could be, if not be able to target them, then they would be threatened by him to the point where they wouldn't anymore. Or they would realize the gig is up or whatever the situation is. Like, fully convinced that the solar system has an effect on stupid human decisions. So I have my calendar in check. Oh god, that's funny. It's hilarious. Also, I don't disagree with that. But that's also why I get up and I do the channels, like with the dream prophecy and stuff. You know what? I was picking up this weird anxiety about a particular person yesterday or the day before, and then they tried to cause issues. I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is. And then yesterday also I was picking up the energy with, well, the mail tampering situation. I picked up the same weird energetic pang about the male issue and situation. Not an anxiety, like a tension point. I just feel, and so I know and generally can intuit like who and where it's coming from. I've gotten very good at it. But I think it's because I think it's because they burned my schedule out to the point where, like I said, I had to pick and choose things. So it was like God said, okay, well, if you feel to read horoscopes and stuff, I'll just build it into your makeup, psychically speaking. You'll feel it when it's up and off. Okay. Yeah, Plutonian energy. I also am picking up Scorpionic energy. I love Scorpio. On the good side, some Scorpios are, I don't know. The crazy mortician, Satan worshiper, mental hospital person is a Scorpio. So no. Scorpio doesn't necessarily mean like witchcraft and stuff in her case, that's where she took it. It just means of spiritual side of things. And sex and death. But again, she took it to a degree that is unhinged, right? For the for the Satan worshiper to get a job as a mortician, when it's well known that Satan worshippers often use body parts for their practices, and so easy access, right? And then the same person is going in and getting a job as a nurse at a mental hospital where there are people living there that are apparently extremely unwell. And so if they're already in a mental hospital, right, and people already think that they're crazy, if she were to bring in some kind of, to target one of the patients, some kind of spell book and some stuff to do spells with, and they were to report it, people would often very likely dismiss them because they think they were just hallucinating anyway, when they weren't. It's just not a good, it just is danger. It's danger. But I have Scorpio in Pluto in my chart. Pluto is a psychic planet, so it, for me, it references the double psychic energy. It's not a sun sign energy. It's what allows me to very clearly discern the truth, but also, like, I've got balance of the polarities, but I don't go dark like they do. We don't hurt people. I'll defend myself and others, but that's different. They think that they're defending themselves when they're combating us for telling the truth about the fact that they decided to combat us, but that's their issue. Relationships and families, probably. So I'm picking up something to do with that. Saturn return, I'm also picking up a reference of. It's a karmic comeback. It's kind of like a Mercury retrograde. So for me, where this karmic Scorpio sun energy took things like too much, too far. I have a point of balance Balance and contention is what I'm picking up. The words are. Same thing with Taurus. Like, one of the main people bullying me has been a Taurus. And he's a big bully. He also has, there are a couple of people with crossovers on these signs, interestingly enough. Like a couple of Tauruses, but they have different aspects in their charts. Or their cuspers. And one of them has Aries as a cusp, like Taurus, Aries cusp. And so this is why they're very often angry and aggressive and warring, this particular person, because his karmic male gives off the representation and the embodiment of like Aries, the god of war. He's not a god. He wants to see himself as a god. He's just a tyrant and a nuisance. So for me, like, I have Taurus, right? For this karmic male Taurus, he's combative and stubborn and obnoxious and aggressive and gluttonous, but also lazy and hedonistic. And so on the positive side, they can be Tauruses if they are evolved or if they're on the upright. Very passionate, hardworking people, but they love, good food and music and like comforts, luxuries even of life. But they put in the work and the effort to do it. On the flip side, these toxic ones are gluttonous, but they don't want to put the work in. Like, they criminally career target people. But the way it's placed in my chart, it's not a dominant sun sign. So even if it was a dominant sun sign, or a dominant trine sign rather, as long as it was in balance and check, it wouldn't be a problem. But for me, where it is in my placement is in like the work, career, financial sector. So it actually gives me leverage without the hedonistic tendencies that this karmic male Taurus energies has embodied. Mine is applied that hard work and ethic from an upright Taurus to reach goals with self-discipline and dedication, right? Yes, enjoying not the payoff of the hard work in life, but knowing it comes from putting that work in. And it's specifically in the work placement, so it just is, it's a good place, it's a good spot. Interestingly enough, is that's one of the areas that this particular Taurus has targeted me, is my pockets. But he's bad with money. To rob me and then claim that I was like broke or lazy or whatever. But they don't rob empty houses. And the reality is, when I was working the way that I was, I make more than his lawyer per hour. I do make more than his lawyer per hour if I'm working. Well, you see, they hurt me. Oh, she's just this and she's just that. No, you're just a bum. She makes more than your lawyer. Stop it. Karmics, because this is somebody who's apparently stalked my page. No, they don't. My lawyer makes more. No. No. You're doing the math wrong because you're making presumptions. Exactly. The Gemini goes big or goes home. Gemini goes big or stays home. The fuck you mean? 182.22. Well, maybe it's just me. I have Virgo also in my trine. Oh, goodness. Oh, we're funny, guys. No, sometimes Tauruses are not hippie like, you know, like the one that bullies me is, he copies people. I don't know where I think maybe he's copying some other people. I don't know. I know when I notice him starting to copy specific people, but I don't know where he got other styles. Maybe the same, but he used to try to dress up like he'd wear like a beanie hat with gauges and like a button-up flannel, kind of like a, I don't know, like emo or scene or something, but he wasn't, or no, what is it? Like a hipster. Oh, I can't stand it, because it just wasn't, it didn't fit his personality. He just thought it looked cool. He used to take these glasses also and just pop the lens out of them. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that aesthetic, but when you understand that this is a narcissist who's copying people and who does this like for their life and a career pretty much, then you realize it's actually kind of a problem. And it was, because that wasn't the only style he would copy, but like this is the person who stole my husband's pants before I met him, before I met either of them. So I met this weird karmic, and who actually, I didn't realize this, but was stalking me, and that's how that happened. And then I was wearing his pajama pants a lot because I liked them. They were comfortable. He's like, you know, like you wear the guy's pants that you're wearing, you're dating. Usually they're bigger and like baggier and whatever. And I hear he tried to be a pretty boy. Yeah, so strange. And so I was wearing these pants, these dark blue drawstring, like men's pajama pants, just as like for bed or around the house. And I didn't know this until years later, but those weren't even his. Those were my future husband's, because this karmic, they were friends and they had a falling out before I met either of them. And then I met the karmic, or the karmic stalked me, pretended like it was just by chance. And this was crazy, dude. And so I started wearing the pants, only to find out after I'd left the karmic, because I just couldn't deal with the abuse, and it was just crazy. And then ended up with my husband. And I realized, and I learned at that point, that those are his pants. So the karmic had stolen his pajama pants when they were still friends. They had a falling out. The karmic stalked me and like met me, and then I started wearing his pants, but they weren't his pants. They were Delray's pants. And then I met Delray. We became friends just through the interconnection. You know how that played out? This karmic had thrown like big tall boy, natty daddy bottles of cans of beer, the double stack ones, like at my face before, and punched holes in the wall right next to my face and all these different things. And his other friends had seen it and had generally just done or said nothing, little to nothing. And so nobody ever put him in check. But the people around him were grimy like him, generally speaking, I found. That's why I left. Skinny jeans. Which one? Which one? Because there is one. I think the one main karmic male is not the one that it's crazy. Wears skinny jeans. Not that I ever saw anyway. But I know what you're talking about, at least because there is somebody who was obsessed with me, who I keep blocking them, and every now and again, like a new account will pop up and they'll start trying to follow me or subscribe to me or something. I'm like, no, dude, stop. And I've never met this person, but this is somebody who, I must have told you guys about this. Probably when one of the friend requests popped up, I'm like, dude, I keep blocking you. You just keep spawning like a bad video game. Get out. And so he tried to tell me, I had a couple people do this, try to tell me that Delray was telling them things to tell me. I'm like, he wasn't. 189.22. But this guy tried to tell me that Del came to him in a dream and told him to take care of me, and all, like he wanted me to be with him. And I'm like, man, you're freaking delusional. And Delray was in my ear the whole time being like, no, I didn't say that. That's not me, babe. What? No. I'm like, I know this dude's a fool. And also, do you think I'm stupid? Or do you think I'm crazy? You don't believe in the psychic realm, or you just don't believe I'm psychic? What is wrong with you? There's something. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is, but there's an issue here. Oh, that was a different one. Dude, there have been so many weirdos. Those mosquitoes attracted to my flame. No, that was a different one. I think that was a Leo, actually. And I don't know what this other guy was. I think maybe a Sagittarius. The one who claimed the dream thing. It was so weird. Del did not say that. And also the guy who said the thing about the dream, he has Asperger's syndrome, which is, last I knew, it was classified or understood as a high functioning form of autism. However, the thing with Asperger's is they're known to embellish on stories to the point where they either add crap in or take crap out to a degree that it's not even a real story anymore. But in their head they think it is, or they convince themselves that it's okay to convince you that it is. Yeah, no, he has Asperger's. So they're known to lie, basically. From what I've seen and heard and understood and recognized that pattern. Anyway, that was just sketch. But then there was the Leo, and he also claimed to be friends with Dell, and he claimed to like know him and this and that and all this stuff. But the thing about it is, he did not know him. He met him once. And you know what? People try to do that with me too. Like, they'll like meet me one time, or like people who I went to school with who don't know me, right? They spent their time bullying me, not getting to know me, and I'm not the same person I was then. I might be feisty and not take anybody's shit. And also, in some cases, they traumatized the hell out of me. And so, yeah, I did regress into some trauma symptoms. And I got a little feisty, motherfuckers. But yeah, that's what you get for throwing stones. Somebody who's just happy in their meditation station. You could have been on your own yoga mat in your own house, minding your own business, but instead you were mad that I was in mine, minding mine. Fuck off. And I speak for the collective when I say that. Yeah. And then after that, there was a Leo who was a fallen masculine because he ganged up on me with a earth sign masculine. Sometimes the X's click together. It's like they're all mad that they can't have divine feminine, so that's the one thing that they have in common is they're mad that they can't be with her, so they choose to make them all, yeah, fuck that bitch. We'll make ourselves feel better by bullying her together. Yeah? Do you feel like a man when you push her around? Do you feel better now if she falls to the ground? Let me tell you, my friend, today your world's come to an end, 'cause your lies tumbled down. A new life she's found. Yeah. Goodness gracious. VIP. I'm mad I can't get into your VIP. I bet you are. Oh, that's cute. Divine Masculine said, "Can I?" Will the real Divine Masculines please stand up? And the answer is yes for those ones. You know, some of them I know are actually kind of going clinical as karma for what they did. But some of them also ganged up and tried to do like crown chakra spells or different spell work on their twin. That's why they fell. That was a Leo. Oh, I'm picking up an energy who's men who can sit around and manipulate an entire situation dramatically without any thought of consequences. And they say that women are dramatic. Oh, come on, man. Divine Masculine says, "Hey, those aren't men." No, I don't think so either. He says real men wouldn't do that. No, real men scoff at that. He's been like kind of frustrated and rolling his eyes. That's the energy towards these karmics. Just like gross, irritated. He thinks they're low vibrational, immature, wasting time, trying to interrupt and interfere with the mission. 195.22. Pretty much. No. I value both men and women's rights. I'll call out grimy, crooked men, but also there are nasty karmic females too. So, hello. It's not about gender, it's about human rights for me. The cause. But also, I just picked up this masculine karmic Leo energy, and he was kind of sad, like she's really not mad at me. She really is just indifferent. I guess because I was just nonchalantly stating facts, just breezing through the topic, not upset, not triggered, and not, just is what it is. Cheers. I hear archaic. And arcane. Yeah, that black mage in reverse card came out earlier. I told you. This is a warlock. This Leo energy. So he fancies himself a warlock. And so he, I would say, chose to try to play with archaic or arcane magic. It's just like very old, dark, black magic. I'm allergic to your bullshit, sir. 222. Yeah, divine masculine. I hear that. He goes around and says, leave my divine feminine alone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my getting itchies too. He says, if she starts to sneeze and gets the hives, I know. Ugh. Blinded. Yeah, we're not, though. I see. What's up? Yep. Yeah, I had to do that. As well. It is sad. It's sad. It's sad when you have to let go of somebody that you wanted to be in your life forever and you thought would be in your life forever because of the connection that you had until they disrespected it or fumbled it and mistreated it, neglected, rejected, abandoned it to the point where you had to let go or couldn't come back. Pretty much. 198.22. Deficiency, but it was not a healthy connection. There was something that was lacking. Maybe you were the giver and they never quite gave enough. You always felt lacking or like you were drained. Or it was a stuck cycle, like maybe for little bits of time while they were maybe trying to rope you back in. They'd spend time, but they got what they wanted. It was like emotionally checked out again. Oh, that's so exhausting. Valuable. Like they took you for granted. Awareness. It's like they didn't realize until they lost you that what they were doing, or they didn't care to do so. They didn't elevate. That's why they fell or they lost the connection. Because they did not merge together. They did not grow with you. If anything else, they merged themselves with toxic connections with either dark energies or bunches of people. Like they surrounded themselves with the wrong people and took those people's words or followed those people's paths instead of listening to their own intuition, their own higher insight, or doing what was right for them. Confusion, yeah. Snakes in their ears. This connection couldn't be salvaged. So they're stuck because that's what they wanted for others. What about it? They will stay in the dark as the light workers rebalance and elevate from the snakes. No diggity. Negative. Oh yeah. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Yeah, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. You keep digging. When my time comes around, lay me gently in the cold dark room, and no grave could hold
my body down, crawl home to her. It's divine masculine. He's saying, you can't keep us apart. Blocked. Introspection, yeah, see, they don't have any insights. They're blocked from any divine insights because they didn't spend their time connecting or listening. They spent all their time trying to block other people. Not the divine masculine, these karmics. Oh, well, I was putting the decks away. Yeah, see, there's no, you can't compete where you don't compare. Reflection, opposition. A couple of other cards. Bound and activation. So there's nothing that can keep the light workers at this point from moving forward. Their free will choice has already made the call. Divine is supporting them. They're taking action steps to make sure to align their thoughts and their frequencies and their movements as best as possible. I just heard something about like questioning. Question Reiki. This will help draw in answers to questions that you have. Just they should just align through more effectively or help you navigate to them, like the Socratic method teaching. It's interesting. This is also about like asking the right questions and not just taking what a karmic says for face value or allow attracting other people to you. Soul family that also does this. People who will not only support and celebrate you, but people who can't be steered or bribed away from you, especially with gossip or slander. Or they won't be. I guess anybody theoretically could be, but it's a choice, and they choose not to. Yeah, I'm going to go take care of some stuff too. I'd like to be off of here. No reminiscing. That's what these karmic energies are doing. They really want the light workers back, so don't. Excuse me. If you feel them pulling on your energy or trying to, just clear the space. There's elemental Reiki coming through. Be mindful. I'm picking up karmics trying to play with sex magic and like pulling on people's root chakra. So if you get these weird, like, when you feel somebody pulling on your root chakra all of a sudden, like, feel this weird sexual energy just all of a sudden, out of the blue. That's what they're trying to do. The cults and covens will do this, even if it's just masturbatory magic. Like, let's say you've got an ex who believes in this. They'll sit there and masturbate over Divine Feminine's picture to try to harvest her energy. And then if she, or to manifest her back even, if she, my ear's ringing, if she were to hit, this is his thought process, pick up the energy and like feel the little tingle in her root chakra that he's trying to send, and she would to go reciprocate by handling herself, right? Then this would be like energetically reciprocating that sexual energy, and so she'd be giving her energy to him, and that's what he's thinking. Sometimes they do this to try to plant their energy back into her energy field, so she's more open to them trying to come to her back in the 3D. It's like they're trying to manifest her with this, but don't, no. No, don't give their power away, energetically or otherwise. We don't let people and energy in that is not good for us when we know better and we can do better, and we don't have to clear it out. Certainly not the same way as a result. Right? Like even if somebody does manage to throw some dirt from a mud pile at your window panes, you can just clean it off. It's easier to keep them out than it is. Let's say if somebody tracks dirt all through your house. Right? Probably less of a mess. Elemental magic, also the outside is weatherproof, waterproofed, so it can handle a hose washing off the side of it, or the rain even, but the inside of the house is going to take more effort and finesse to clean. Speaking of cleaning, I'm going to go do my laundry and some dishes, put on probably a documentary maybe, something, we'll see. 108:22. And then hit my yoga mat for a while. I heard that. Two things I hear people, whoa, thanking me for being here, holding space. You're very welcome. I also hear God blesses those who bless others. I'm also remembering that givers have to set boundaries because takers have none. That also came out in the cards. It's another thing that some of these karmic people have tried to do. Call people like ungenerous or selfish when we won't let them take from us or hurt us. But it's not that we don't have that care or concern for people. We just know that those are not the people who we need to be focusing that energy on. Those are people who put us in binds. And we don't make it easy for people to hurt us. Yeah, see, they're just mad and jealous and feel entitled. But so the Divine Masculine says they don't deserve that. Exactly. It's a boundary, not a grudge. Cheers. Two 10:22. And my human is very ready to go, but my spirit for some reason says not yet. I don't know what, hold on. There's something, channel hasn't closed. Okay, well, that's good, but if we're going to do that, alright. I need a second.
Thank you. Yeah, I just felt that. So I'm feeling a divine masculine energy, a good energy in my space, in my aura. Hello. I'm also picking up karmics, trying to sit around and figure out what they can do to, or maybe that's what they were doing, either gang stalking together, or how to get out of it. It's like the hacking energy. The devil. But yeah, see, fraud and desert. It's giving the Egyptian set. It's like the Egyptian version of the devil. So what I was picking up is divine masculine and then karmic energy, and I was pushing the karmic energy, so get out, like pushing the karmic energy out, and I picked up for a second that this divine masculine energy thought I was talking to him, pushing him out. It's like he just wants to love and give to the divine feminine, whereas, yeah, this karmic energy, they maybe have tried to give gifts before, but it's either from somebody that is on drugs and is disconnected, or as wanted to try to give somebody something that had drugs in it so that they could take them out and get rid of them. I won't even get into the rest, but grandparent may have to do with a number of things. Like, you may just be older mentally and emotionally. These people are immature, so it's not like it's that hard. But in some cases, this is actually about grandparents. Couple, see, look, couple, burial, Let's see. Insurance just tried to pop out, power supply as well. I was just picking up power of attorney, also narcissistic supply. I've talked about that a little bit. Perversion, yeah, see, something's weird. Sitting spying on people. You know, it's funny too, I picked up a karmic energy trying to throw nasty work at me, so I did a few shields just quickly. And one of them was a brick shield. You see these karmics trying to peek through the bricks. Affair. Trying to bury the fact that they've been working together. Outer space. You know what I'm picking up with some of these people? Some of these people are getting divorced because it was all fun and games while they were targeting light workers together, in some cases like hooking up, drugs, parties, orgies, okay? Like group sex. Except it became very complicated, and like now they're fighting and there's jealousies, and like some of them divorcing because of stuff like that. I just think it's weird. And this is why they don't want other people to be happy in love, because they're miserable. It's crazy. Accident. Organized crime. So these, I told you, organized criminals like working together in a group. Remember, they were all sitting around the table here. Okay. Something, it's like they were accidentally uncovered. Somebody just stumbled across this somehow. They were targeting people who figured it out, or they were trying to hurt people and make it look like an accident. Or their karma is that they're going to be in those, yeah, look, death, freak accidents, but they're not freak accidents. It's like secrets, so it's not exposed anymore. It's like the Final Destination movies, where death just hunts them down because crime of passion. They were supposed to be gone, according to their timeline cover-up. It's in reverse, though. It got exposed. What about this crime of passion? Oh, God, serial killer. It's in reverse, though. They got caught, or they were being stopped from doing that. But this is, I mean, goodness gracious. That dismembered card came out. Ooh. Oh, this gives me the cringies. Hold on, I need to take a breath. And grab a jacket. That gave me the chills. Yuck. You know? Female revenge party. Yeah, see, it's like trying to drug somebody at a party. Possibly traveling to do so, or, oh god, marriage, wedding, it's in reverse. Maybe they're mad at somebody. Oh, okay. So something got exposed. So people are getting divorced or whatever situation, even if it has nothing to do with you. People are trying to blame light workers for their marriages failing, even though they were just toxic in general. So they're wanting to travel to somewhere, or like something to do with traveling to a party. Maybe what they did to steal inheritance. There's something missing here. We're missing some pieces of information. Let's get in a little bit deeper before I try to figure it all out just by that. But I'm picking something else intuitively up about that. Wedding, party, connected. Possibly to the insurance stuff with like the death of maybe a grandparent, right? Or an elder for, there's something else here. Outer space, like ashes. It's giving ashes. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Think back to what we once were, once will become again, or something like that. Female, fire, see ashes, justice. Oh, okay. You know, I thought it was awfully strange. Does anybody have an opinion about this? For somebody to cremate somebody who had a burial plot, especially to like rush them off. I've never heard of that before. Somebody says, you mean like lowering a casket into the ground? No, I mean like a spot that's for a casket, but where they dig up, it has a headstone. They get a tombstone engraved and all that stuff, but it's not a casket with a body. It's an urn full of ashes. I think that's weird. Like, people usually put ashes in urns like to keep, right? Not, I don't know. I've never seen that before, other than the people who stole my inheritance from my grandmother. I found it a bit funny that she died after somebody got off the plane. The person who stole the inheritance too. So you think that's also weird? I thought it was weird. Fire. Justice, legal proceedings in reverse. So they did things to try to block proper legal proceedings, or, yeah, they don't want me to talk about this. Or, I want to know, is it normal? I've never heard of that. And I've been to plenty of funerals. I've never seen people be buried and cremated. It's just very strange. Especially since everyone else there is just buried. Like in a family plot. I think that's the only one that was cremated like that. It's just strange. Especially when it was the same person who stole the inheritance that rushed to have it done. I just think it's weird. But, you know, if suddenly the same person jumped off a plane and then the person dies, I'm like, That's convenient. Is that of natural causes, or did you help the process along with a pillow? Because here's the thing. If you cremate somebody, you can't check for petechial hemorrhaging, which shows up in like often the lips, the eyes, and the nose, sometimes around the mouth, if somebody's suffocated or strangled. So, it's destruction of evidence, desecration of the body. 2222. Look. Stacy Crowley, because you see the neighbor that moved out before this crappy one next door moved in. They tried to recruit her right after all this happened. This crooked aunt who stole the inheritance, she reached out to the old neighbor, and the old neighbor told her to fuck off because she reached out thinking that nobody knew what she'd been doing to me, but I told the neighbor what they'd been doing. She knew. She saw the evidence aspects of it herself, and she thought it was weird that all of a sudden, you know, she was getting friend requests. She thought it was weird, and it was specific targeting. Trying to isolate me from people with slander and gossip. And that neighbor that moved out, that's the one that helped me get my cat to the vet at one point. And the new neighbor, comparatively speaking, the other one was there for over a decade, I think. I think we all have been on the block, except for this one over here now. She put my cat in the vet, so they're very different. Homicide. Yeah. Yeah, look, see, there it is. Something about life insurance fraud or scandals or scams because they didn't want to be in trouble for life insurance fraud or stealing inheritance. Because it was that same aunt that also had access to that information and then also her bank accounts. See, and she ganged up on me with a convicted domestic abuser too. Speaking of power of attorney, if somebody kidnaps your children and claims you're unfit, then inheritances that are left to children are left to who, right? Who? Then whoever's kidnapping the kids. Claiming power of attorney. This whole reading has been about that Atlantean energy. This is an off deck. Yeah, they were not thinking very clearly. And what did I say about the Final Destination movie? That's how the first one starts. Precisely that way. These people weren't using their intuition. They didn't think they'd get caught. Jealousy was exposed, or they wanted to create jealousy. Well, look at the mail theft. Told you. They thought that they could mentally gaslight and control people this way. Also the stalking, online stalking too. But they didn't understand. They don't understand how we keep clearing out the mountains that they have continued to try to create. Let's see, anything else? Let me clean up my station a little bit. Karmic females freaking out, angry, upset. I'm ready to go hang out and watch some Netflix and do some dishes and kick it. I'm also excited for tomorrow, you know? We're doing all right, guys. Keep going. It's all right. Home, look. Home, when we go home. It's not that life is perfect or has been perfect. Could definitely be better, but we're working on it, and it's better than it was, and we're still moving forward, so they're in trouble. Keep minding your business and doing your thing. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself when you need to, but make sure to get some rest. Now, do I wish bad things for these people? No. But that's all they've been doing to other people. Causing harm for other people or blaming other people for what they've done. No. They need to stop. Yeah. And there's a karmic, no, you need to stop, because they feel like I'm the problem. Me speaking the problem is the problem, not what they're doing. I would stop attacking you if you'd stop talking about the fact that I'm attacking you. Well, I wouldn't have anything to talk about if you'd stop attacking, so no. And then even so, it's not even a you first, yes, but no. Because at that point, they've done such damage that we have every right and entitlement to talk about it. It's also called talk therapy with a trauma survivor. It can be helpful to speak about what happened. So they're not allowed to tell people, I don't want you to talk about it. Why? Because it makes you look bad? Yeah, it was bad. It hurt people. But if you don't want people to know about the things that you do that are bad, that you are afraid make you look bad, then don't do them. You don't get to put a time limit on people's healing. And you do not, karmics, get to choose how people should heal when you didn't have the right to hurt them in the first place. I think that last part was a Grey's Anatomy quote, by the way. Something Grey's, or some kind of medical show. Really, the quote is something like, I refuse to apologize for how I choose to heal. Something. I think it's Grey's. Okay, I hear that ambiance, Reiki. Cool. This is a really chill energy. It's like why I keep the Christmas lights up for mood lighting. And every little thing's gonna be alright. If it's not okay, it's not the end. I know that it's not ideal to go through challenging or damaging situations, for sure. That, trust me, you're the first person to tell you that. But I also will tell you that it's not the end. It's not ideal. Sometimes there's healing that needs to be done after, but not the end. I hear, you are so beautiful to me. It's alfalfa from the Little Rascals. Cute little guy. But it's divine masculine, professing his love to divine feminine. And I think I'm going to cap the reading right there. Please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I